There we go. Now it's working. Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that was the first time that happened. But that's just the weirdness that happens with Streamlabs not working properly. Anyway, good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Smudcast number 560, How the Manipulative Victim Trope Shaped the Depp-Heard Trial. Now, the Depp-Heard trial was a real thing, and a trope, I guess they're describing the trial in a narrative sense to say there's a pattern in real life or a stereotype or something, to say that this sort of pattern of, I'm assuming Heard is the manipulative victim, is the pattern they're referring to. And that's what they're trying to say, how this occurred outside of the trial. So either after the trial or during the trial, and the public response to that. I think that's what they're trying to say.
I think what they're trying to say is that because there is this trope that made everyone biased against Amber Heard to be that. And that's why she lost.
Really?
Not because she's actually playing the victim and highly manipulative and a horrible actor, and horribly incompetent actor, and probably a psychopath.
I don't know.
I would say definitely, yeah.
I actually have really fun.
And I personally, I think she's the only reason they didn't bring forth antisocial personality disorder with her is because it's just too much at once.
I discovered because they released a bunch of documents, I think last week, about the trial, and it was 2 weeks ago, and there was another psychologist that was analyzing Heard, and there was so much proofs showing off histrionic borderline personality disorder and the lies. Like, she was constantly lying throughout the interviews she was having, and they weren't allowed
That's
to.
what you have often in a cluster B, yeah.
Yeah, it was this whole whack of just analysis that went over the course of years that was released to the public for whatever reason, but it was not allowed in the trial. So they must have had that bargaining pre-trial that lawyers do, that what you can and cannot submit as evidence, which is standard. But it didn't matter, because when she was on the stand and she was showing her own evidence, it was just like, oh my God, honey, you are making stuff up, and it was so obvious. I had fun watching the trial, because I don't really watch trials. I'm more into the forensic stuff myself when I read or watch stuff in cold case files or live case stories. And a lot of her testimony was weird. It was like, something is wrong with her. And it sounds like she's a victim, yes, but there's a lot she's not saying which a victim would say, which was weird. And I think the
only way that she sounds like a victim is where, or remotely believably sounds like a victim, is where she had driven Johnny Depp to the point, over the edge, with all her bullshit, to then point the finger at him for, look, he's bad. Which is something that gaslighters do. That's the point of gaslighting, or one point of it. It's to psychologically break you, so that you either shrivel up and die, commit suicide, or snap and lash out, so that the gaslighter can then play victim and frame you as the perpetrator. And the latter is what happened here with Amber Heard.
Right. And we sort of went through the ideas of domestic abuse, even though this was a defamation lawsuit, which is a civil case. So it wasn't a criminal case in the sense that she was assaulting him and she's taking her to trial. It's that she said something bad about Johnny that is affecting his life and his career, and that's what she was found liable over. She wasn't like committed. She wasn't, accused of committing assault and battery and what have you. So, and it just became clear that every time there was a new piece of evidence, it was either redundant, it was contradicting what she said, or it was showcasing that she was in fact more of the aggressor than Johnny. Now, Johnny was no angel, but
but since she's delusional about the evidence, she thinks that these things that clearly make her out as the abuser, she thinks people will see her as the victim in them, because she sees herself as the victim in them.
I think there was some sort of hostility from not necessarily Johnny instigated it, but it was sort of their fights got dangerous and she was scared or she was reacting as such.
Where did you get that from?
Well, the testimonies, even Johnny was saying there were so many fights that
Yeah, but those were instigated by her, obviously.
well, yeah,
I've seen enough of these kinds of relationships. These fights are instigated, and then she plays the victim. She drives him to the point where he snaps.
Well, yeah,
and from the testimony, from the evidence, the recordings that were that were played in court, and the ones that we publicly knew before court, Johnny Depp sounds surprisingly rational and collected, while she is completely acting out.
right.
You cannot tell me that she felt intimidated or threatened by Johnny Depp. I don't believe that.
I think
It's not a fight unless you hear the Star Trek fight music.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the only thing she had on him was, or not the only thing, but the only thing that really mattered was when he was violently attacking the cupboards in his house, which is, a violent action.
He's angry at something indefinite. He wasn't even told, it wasn't even disclosed about that entire thing, what he was even angry about.
Right.
What he was frustrated about. This woman had not a single serious bruise. Johnny Depp, he had not just bruises. He had lost a part of his finger.
Right. And that was a weird part of the trial where she was trying to argue she didn't cause it. And they brought in specialists and all this other garbage. And it was like, okay, listen, Johnny, I highly doubt Johnny hurt himself by slamming a phone that didn't exist against the wall of some other bar or whatever he was in. And it was just this ridiculous he said, she said nonsense. Then we brought the experts in. The one expert was a moron. And the last expert, the guy who actually did the surgery, was like, yeah, this is pretty obvious. It was caused by blunt force trauma from a sharp object, and a vodka bottle would do that. So
yes, you cannot tell me that she feels intimidated, but he loses limbs or parts of them. that doesn't add up.
Yeah, there was also the photographs when he was on a train ride. I think the Orient Express or something, where he had a black eye, and everyone's like, "Where'd you get the black eye?" And he didn't say where it came from, but it was clearly from her.
Yeah, and then you look at the pictures with Elon Musk. Elon Musk has bruises while he's with her.
Oh, really?
And has got her previous relationship, who had filed domestic abuse against her, I believe. So you really want to tell her that she felt intimidated by Johnny Depp? No. And in that video where he was angry at the cupboards, she was also not intimidated. She was completely collected and happy, and there was even a little curl up of her lips. She was smiling because she thought she was getting super awesome evidence.
Yeah,
right now.
that was really a dumb. Like, if you're in a trial about, trying to maintain your good image because you want to smear someone else, it's really good not to smirk or have any emotion that's positive or negative. Just be dead as possible.
Incapable of controlling that.
It's like,
so
what
she
are
doesn't
you
have
doing?
any real emotions, which is why I think she's not. She is antisocial. Because if you're dealing with a pure borderliner and or histrionic, there are all these real emotions. They're all there. They're just completely out of bounds and uncontrolled and chaotic and without connection to reality necessarily.
I remember you and I were laughing about the notes, the ghost notes she was writing. Which did not, is she writing anything, or is her pen even touching the paper? We're not even sure what's happening.
No, I think the pen was touching the paper, but she was writing at this weird 90-degree angle, but she was always like, what's the English word where you're rocking back and forth, stimming.
Well, the funny thing was, she was
stimming, but she was doing it in this weird detached way where her head was just moving, like swaying in a very fluent motion, back and forth, to the left, to the right, and it's like in those moments she was dissociating. I've seen borderliners dissociating, and they sway like they're alcoholic or something, like they're on drugs. It was
they're
funny not in the room
because the notes were being passed to the female lawyer to behind her, and then the male lawyer, the guy I actually really like listening to, he's smart, was like sitting right up, like next to her, watching her write, and he was just like shaking his head, like, what is this chick doing?
Yeah. But the thing is, someone with antisocial personality disorder, like when we talk about psychopaths, they don't have this full range of emotions. They have a very limited amount of them, and they're very hard to get out of them, which is why they look for thrills that get emotional highs out of them, which you can do by exerting control over others, causing pain, and other such things. And this is why psychopaths often play a thrill game where they're doing more and more obvious stuff to be found out about the bad thing they're doing. Like eventually, like when your spouse is cheating on you, eventually your spouse will be so bashful with that he or she will text with the affair in the bed next to you while you're reading a book.
All right.
Anyway, because it's about the thrill and the feeling of I am so powerful I cannot be found out, and that's what Amber Heard played.
Right.
And the Take will try to defend her, although they know better because we've seen their bookshelves. They have books like the Psychopath Test on that, and they should know that Amber Heard is not the victim.
Okay, let's get into the video. This is from the Take, in case you haven't heard from Whisp. This came out in July of this year, has almost 100,000 views, and, well, it's got 5.1 thousand upvotes and 6.6 thousand downvotes. So people can see through this nonsense, and it's only 13 minutes. Won't take too long. So...
No,
yeah, obviously not. Anyway, here's our first... message from one of our members. Thank you, Vladimir. Her tears were faker than the female orgasm. That's good because she didn't have any tears.
What tears?
She had none. That was one of the points that came up in the trial. She had problems crying as an actress, and if you checked, she never cried during the trial.
After this trial was the first time that I watched Aquaman.
Oh.
And it was baffling because she really can't act. She's just the same as on the stand. It's like this woman does not know what emotions are.
I was so disappointed in that movie because like they didn't play the Ocean Man theme. I was really expecting it.
But really, like she's supposed to be the love interest, and there's absolutely no chemistry.
Jason Momoa is a
there's
really
anything inside her.
Attractive guy, personality-wise. I don't know about the film, but he's just a nice guy. He's also buff as hell. So if you're a girl, you're like, oh, this guy's awesome.
I think he could have played that relationship with any woman who's not crazy like Amber Heard,
yes.
and it would have worked. But since it's Amber Heard, who's like Brie Larson, you could switch these two women out, and it would make no difference at all.
I do remember watching Stargate Atlantis where he was Ronan Dex, and there was a love triangle moment where the medical doctor nerdy girl was kind of into him and we weren't sure who she was going to end up with, and I thought that was a funny episode because it was between him and Dr. McKay, who's like uber nerd guy with all these problems, personality issues. So I thought it was rather cute and funny that she goes for the nerdy guy. Anyway, 13 minutes. Let's get going.
Why were so many people so ready to believe that Amber Heard was lying in Johnny Depp's defamation trial against her? Does the answer actually have something to do with our popular storytelling tropes?
No.
Stories about women being deceptive or manipulative have been embedded in our culture for millennia, dating all the way back to Adam and Eve, and they've become crystallized in the figure of the
No. Eve was just dumb.
How was Eve
Eve was mainly dumb.
What was she manipulating?
Because she was trying to get Adam to also bite the apple.
Yeah, but that's not...
It was the first psyop in humanity's history.
Yeah. But the Take does not understand that these tropes exist because they have a root in reality. Because these evil women do exist, and we see them reflected in the Grimm's Brothers fairy tales.
#believe women.
Okay. Anyway,
believe the witches. Believe the Grimms, the brothers Grimm witches.
all right.
Like the one that lures your children into a gingerbread house to eat them. She's totally trustworthy, but sure.
All right, here's Mike Hunt. Thanks for the donation. And this is all in caps within lots of ellipses. She shat on his bed. I don't even have a passive disdain for the women on the take anymore. Okay, it makes one of us. I genuinely wish the worst for them. Oh, what? Let me read that one more time. Maybe I misread you. I don't even have a passive disdain. I think it's passionate. Passive disdain for the women on the take anymore. I genuinely wish the worst for them. They seem like they blame guys for their problems as they stew in their fat-infested apartment and smell like wine and pee. That is
All right.
These mostly smell like wine.
That is an image that did not fall too far away from my own. It not my own image, but my image of them. So it's yeah, we're kind of curious where these people are. Like we saw pictures of them at the end of videos. We're like, okay, rich pricks who are probably in their high rises and never connect with humanity. Their takes, as it is, are very biased and lacking knowledge and evidence a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of interpretation and a lot of reaching for something that isn't there. And
what I've noticed with these two is especially because they do it in a corporate fashion, it seems. But also with other people we've covered, women and men. Yeah. The men usually as the white knights. But what I've noticed is that narcissists, this whole range, this whole cluster B thing, they seem to, at least unconsciously, cover for each other. Like narcissists usually do not work well with each other unless they have a common goal.
Well,
and the common goal of all narcissists is to not be found out, not be held accountable.
Well,
which leads to when another narcissist does something bad or has a bad behavior that the other narcissist also has, the other narcissist will make excuses for it.
Right. In this case, the take ladies are not your typical ideologues. Usually when we cover ideologues on the Smudcast, they are trying to get attention. Yeah. They're trying to act funny, like they're clowns. These ladies are, they are completely dyed in the red. They completely believe what they're saying. This is not an act.
This collective narcissistic covering for each other. That has nothing to do with ideology. It is solely a behavior of these people that I have not read anything about before anywhere. I've not stumbled upon it in any of the books I've read on the topic. So I will give it the not accurate enough but funny sounding name, the narcissistic hive mind. It's not a real hive mind. I don't think there is any hive mind outside of science fiction, but they will. If you imagine you are the victim of narcissistic abuse, like Johnny Depp, and then you go to a therapist who later will turn out is also a narcissist. That therapist will see herself reflected in the complaints you make about your narcissistic abuser, and therefore gaslight you about that and make you ask you questions like, oh, do you really think that's bad? Don't you think she has reasons? Maybe it's you. Maybe you're the problem. Oh, that's really not a bad thing, that behavior, and so on. This can get really bad, and so if you just presented this behavior to anyone who's not narcissistic, the immediate reaction would be, yeah, that's bad behavior.
Well,
if you bring it up to a narcissist that shares the behavior or traits or whatever, you will get a defensive reaction that is trying to play it down.
Well, in this case, the ladies are not directly defending Amber Heard. They're taking the feminine side for the sake of this is a female we're talking about, and they're using the scope or the guise of a narrative to talk about the public image of the trial as opposed to the trial and the evidence and the facts therein, which is a funny way of trying to describe the reaction everyone's having as opposed to what's actually happened in the trial. Because anyone who pays 2 minutes listening to this thing, the trial, would be, yeah, she's lying. This is clearly a really bad case of she just wants to have her 10 minutes of fame. Oh my goodness, poor me. Please pay attention to me. I'm right because I'm a woman, blah, blah, blah. And the take is just saying, well, look at what happened. Look at the public outcry.
The take wants us at large. The take wants us to get to the point where we will never believe that a woman could be manipulative for selfish gain.
Yeah, if they were directly addressing Amber and saying, no, she's innocent or this or that, you're like, okay, this is going to get ratioed. You're an idiot. You didn't listen to the trial, blah, blah, blah. But now they're addressing the narrative, which is weird in a reality
and the whole title is extremely, let's say, strange, leading or anything. Like they stated as fact that this trope did shape the trial. So manipulative victim. First off, Amber Heard is not a victim. She's playing the victim, but which is already manipulation. She's a manipulative abuser.
All right.
Previous female mastermind who can lie and control others at will.
I've killed for you.
We call that a psychopath.
Who else can say that?
You're delusional. I mean, you're insane.
That narrative was certainly visible throughout the trial, when a huge number of people became fixated on the idea that Heard was not only being deceitful, but had even carefully orchestrated an intricate series of events in order to tarnish Depp's reputation.
There was kind of a weaponization of the reputational warfare online. There was almost this heat machine built against her.
Whatever your opinion on Heard's ultimate veracity, there was very little evidence suggesting she was pulling off some kind of elaborate hoax, as one of Depp's lawyers, Adam Waldman, directly accused her of. But many found it easy to cast her in the manipulative...
Oh no, if you look at all the stuff that there is and you have experience with this kind of stuff, you see that it was just a hoax. That's the whole point. I think...
What the fuck is she talking about? Like, there's evidence there. Like, they discussed, like, there was only one charge where, like, they give it to Amber. All the rest was, like, in Johnny's favor.
Yeah, and
can she just objectively like look through them? Of course not, because like she's just only judging by emotions.
Yeah, and
another great video.
Yeah, and if you look at the whole thing, it gives the impression of this having been a planned marriage scam from Amber Heard in order to get out Johnny's
That's
stuff.
another thing. There was news coming out of Amber Heard and her $1 million celebrity parties, where she wines and dines some people who are rich or whatever. And we don't know how Elon Musk was involved with that, but I'm assuming that's how she gets her claws into people, is through these parties. What happens in those parties, I don't know. But it's a weird state of affairs where you're a leech off other people. And why do you think she keeps saying, oh, I still love Johnny? It's like, are you nuts? Are you crazy? You still have feelings for this guy whom you abused and you were living off and you took from even after the divorce. I don't know if you guys did not see the SUV footage of her sister and her driving away in the SUV they got from the settlement from the divorce.
Yeah. And singing.
And singing and being happy. It's like, this person is not a victim. She's having a great time. What are you talking about?
She's having a great time. Like, beaten up by Johnny Depp. Like, she's like, her face was full of bruises. Next day, happy and hanging out with friends, smiling and all that.
Yeah. If you had these extreme
makeup
bruises,
that like she supposedly used to like hide those bruises didn't even come out yet. For the time.
Also, this is a very striking image of probably her inside, what she feels like on the inside, which is nothing, with dead eyes. When you see someone with an expression like this, be scared.
Okay. Here is a liter of salad. Hopefully, you would only know that if you were an astronaut, but Do not puree your salads, guys. It's probably not the best way to eat salad. Anyway, these women, a man had the tip of his finger chopped off and his career ruined by a psycho ex. How do I make this about me? If anything, this can teach men that if the sex seemed too good, Google the pills in her medicine cabinet.
I don't know what the last part is, but yes, I've had a fair share of friends who fell for girls with whom the sex was really crazy good, but the woman the sex was attached to was just either absolutely crazy with borderline personality disorder, or was what I call wallet sexual.
Interesting.
Amber Heard is definitely wallet sexual.
All right, let us continue.
The female mastermind role because she wasn't the flip side to this figure, the so-called perfect victim.
I'm not a good victim, I get it. I'm not a likable victim. I'm not a perfect victim.
The irrefutably blameless perfect victim, like the supernaturally manipulative female mastermind, is so rare that she might as well not really exist. And still, in deciding who's telling the truth and who isn't,
she's not
we
a
so
perfect
often
victim
refer
because
to
she's
these
not a
tropes.
victim at all.
It's a big reason many women don't come forward, because they assume they won't be deemed believable.
No, they won't be deemed believable because there are fakers like Amber Heard who give real victims a really bad rap, and they won't be listened to because there are assholes who lie about being victims.
I'm trying to remember the name.
That happens to both sexes.
The neuroscientist who was looking at psychopaths' brains, and he actually did the same test on his own brain. And it turns out he has the same reaction to stimuli as a psychopath would. And
oh my god!
Which was fascinating because he's a psychologist. He did all these studies, and the stories he was saying was that what was the causes for all of these things, because when you're a psychopath, parts of you aren't turning on the same way they would turn on for other people. Part of your hypothalamus is not turned on. There's certain parts of your brain that aren't as developed, for example. And the stories that of psychopaths that he was covering, like the reasons why they did stuff were because they were bored, or they they didn't care. Like they thought it would be fun to do. And they turned out it wasn't as fun, but they kept doing it because that's the only thrill they got out of other stuff, whether it was social reasoning or personal reasoning or whatever stimulus you got. So it was the excitement factor of these crimes. And one of them was this woman who, this is bizarre. She just killed everyone she tried to get close to, her kids, her exes. And it's this most bizarre story. I don't have the name on the tip of my tongue because I read about it a month or two ago. But it's this crazy story of people just being bored who happen to be psychopaths doing their thing.
Oh, holy shit. But yeah, that's what I refer to with the thrill game as well. Where they do a bad thing and they of course don't want to be found out, but they take a thrill from the excitement of the possibility of being found out, and so they push more and more, and they drop more hints or do more risky stuff that can make them be unmasked. And how that goes when it happens, that can go very different extreme ways.
All
Not
right.
always good for the non-psychopath.
Okay.
Also, I hate this extremely loud and very emotionally manipulative music that they play here.
I don't like they're using a narrative understanding of events or of understanding the trial in a public sense. I think it's a very strange thing to analyze public perception like it's a story, like you're reading a book.
Yes, like I hate how trying to put the media bias with like a real life trial. It has I just can't believe that these two grown ass women cannot separate art from reality.
Like on Twitter, it is largely biased towards left leaning people, and you would think that they would be like, oh yeah, no, we like Amber Heard. She's a woman, blah, blah, blah. It's like, nope.
No. Like, I would say almost universally everyone was against her for
Right.
a good reason.
Exactly. And you're like, oh, this was orchestrated. It's like, nope, this was completely
No.
organic.
Like, what is orchestrated is that all the mainstream media have been like biased towards Amber Heard. Like for some reason, like they had to like cover for her every single time. Kind of like what happened with Ezra Miller recently. Like he has been like committing like I don't know like how many crimes, and he has been charged and caught on site. And now he just came out that like, guys, I'm sorry. Please forgive me for my behavior. And like that's his jail-free card. Seriously,
I saw
The
him.
universe forgives you.
I saw
yeah, everyone forgives you.
the two
It's
stories.
kind of like that South Park skit. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, there was two stories
Sorry.
over Ezra. I was laughing my ass off. He came out as trans and a cult leader.
No.
No. Like he came out
Trans,
non-binary.
non-binary, and creating planets or something.
Like, I loved it, but like he was caught by the police, and like they still had their cams on, and he was like threatening the police officer that like you cannot call me as he because my pronouns are they them, and I find this offensive, and I can like charge you for this. Are you guys trying to kill me? Yeah. What the fuck are these people? But
Yeah,
why are they
imagine-
protecting them? What kind of like blowjob is he giving to the Warner Bros. Executives?
Oh, and then
Like,
fucking
I don't know.
imagine. Yeah, and then fucking imagine that you have some serious medical condition, and then fucking lunatics like that guy claim to have it, do some other magical pony twist on it, and then claim to be like the galleon figures for the movement or something. It's like, oh god.
That was very
You don't need enemies anymore when you have activists like that.
the message that Amber Heard seemed to be broadcasting a message about women's assault or domestic abuse throughout the trial, which I was thinking,
Women are never listened to. Oh god,
Like-
women
like-
are never believed. Like, oh god, that's the opposite of reality.
it was like, okay, you could have that, and I'm sure even the lawyers she hired were sort of talking about the First Amendment and all. It's like all this other stuff that was nice to say, but had nothing to do with the actual trial. It's like, why are you doing this? You're trying to defend yourself. Don't start talking about a series of women in the past or present that are abuse victims when everything you've done in this trial has showcased how you've made mistakes and you're the one causing all these problems. It was a weird take that she was pushing, and the judges were, or sorry, the defense team was sort of using that, but then they just abandoned it and went into the freedom of speech thing. It was like, oh, that's weird. So it was fun to watch because you weren't expecting dumb shit like that to pop up during a trial that's about defamation.
Oh yeah, and also yes, ego dreamer, manipulative victim trope. Never heard of this be a trope. Yeah, I don't think this is a thing. They didn't really define it, because instead what they showed were the actual abusive, psychopathic women who are not victims.
Right.
That's what they showed as examples.
And when you
So
talk
they're
about,
not
we talk about stories that have manipulative people,
gaslighting.
you talk about women, there's usually in the noir genre, the women aren't psychopaths. They're not necessarily, I don't think. They're just manipulative, especially talk about the classics like the Maltese Falcon or Big Goodbye. Like they're all sort of like, they're women and they have plots that aren't revealed until later in the story. That's it. They're not crazy, murderous lunatics. They're usually there to deceive through the promise of sex or an intrigue or prize or something later on, and they turn out to be something else in the end. That's it. They're not necessarily out to kill the hero. They're there to get whatever they want. So they're not there manipulating you for fun and profit. They're there because they want to protect a brother or a sister or get revenge or something on something outside of the protagonist usually. So anyway, let's continue.
I
wasn't the perfect victim.
Here's our take on how our narratives around the Depp-Heard trial draw on the tropes of the perfect victim and the devious manipulative woman, and how both of these fictional ideas fuel dangerous societal misogyny.
You're the piss pot who's the reason why women are not believed.
Let's stop this for a second.
Holy
she
shit.
thinks there are fictional tropes that we are pulling from a real live trial that is fueling societal misogyny, which implies
no. She doesn't say that we pull these tropes from their trial. The tropes exist by themselves, but she says the tropes are both wrong.
Whatever category.
Which means that she says that there are no such things as manipulative women.
Well, whatever category.
This is a manipulative woman. This is what I've been telling you.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what our brains are logically deducing from the trial. Like, we look at the trial, we say, okay, this Amber Heard is lying, she's not lying, whatever, right? But regardless, from that, the trial is somehow fueling misogyny in society. Like, after when the trial ended, all of a sudden, boom, a lot of men started hating women. It's a strange take. That is a really weird thing to have a defamation lawsuit and go, you know what? I'm going to hate women now because Johnny Depp was found not liable, or sorry, that Amber Heard was liable for defamation. That's a weird. I don't think any lawyer would ever think that. They'd be like, oh yeah, now that Johnny is vindicated of not abusing his spouse at the time, a lot of men now are going to start abusing their spouse. It's like, what? Why would that happen? What a bizarre. This is no different than video games cause violence. Because video games are violent, or maybe they're not violent and therefore people want to commit violence because they're lacking in their life or some nonsense.
Are you lying to take women? Maybe you would get less abused, in quotation marks, if you stopped abusing other people with your lies and manipulations and outright gaslighting. This entire video, this is the point where it turns into complete gaslighting, where the manipulative woman is trying to tell us that there are no manipulative women. Holy shit.
All right.
Women can't do bad. Women can't be evil. It's impossible. They're all avatars of flowery light, truth, honesty, and they're incapable of doing anything bad or dishonest.
Here is Vladimir Dragonov again. Thanks for the 5. Look up Gertrude Baniszewski and get back to me on how Heard is innocent. Well, that's a different case, I think. I do recommend checking it out. It's an old case, but I think that was the one I was referring to. I can't recall. I can't remember the names exactly. But yeah, there are lots of cases of women being the perpetrator. So, all right. Here we go.
If the truth is inconvenient, if the truth doesn't, fit, they don't believe it.
But that is true. And it's manipulative assholes who don't want to believe the truth, which is usually the women from the take.
This is not...
Those are the types.
There's evidence, there's visual and audio evidence of those events, and then you can also check, did that actually happen? Yeah, if it got audited. Why would you still ask these questions? Yeah. Especially, I don't know, when did the trial end? Because, this video is from July, right?
Yeah.
I think, the trial ended, in May or June. Did it?
No, around April.
April, okay. What the fuck is on with them?
Well, just
are
imagine.
They that delusional?
Yeah.
Are they locked up in their rooms?
They need a reason to make a video.
Well,
do they have dial-up internet?
Just imagine. Just imagine we did not have all these wonderful pieces of physical evidence, like pictures and video and recordings. Imagine we had no physical evidence, right? It was all stories. Yeah. The presentation from the defense was crazy. The specialists were nuts. It was almost a circus at times. You're like, who are these people giving their expert testimony on theory, not an actual evidence?
These people are insults to their fields of work.
That one doctor, I can't remember his name. He looked like Emmett Brown on drugs.
Yeah, he looked like Doc Brown.
Yeah.
It was the.
I've run into a therapist like that once. It was I didn't.
That was
like that for some
insane. I've never. I was like, this is the craziest doctor I've ever heard of.
Oh, it can get. I know a worse one, but it's that direction. Take that guy times 3, and oh god, like starting 3 sentences in the same sentence that are different sentences. And then expect a reply from you in 0.3 seconds. And if you don't give it, he will be upset with you and keep on ranting. It's like, the hell is happening?
The funniest thing, when he brought up the Goldwater rule, it's like, why did you bring that up? You were attacking yourself. Like, like as soon as you bring that up, it's like, oh, you want to put holes in your testimony. Okay, go for it. And he kept talking about it. I was like, dude, shut this guy up. Anyway.
Yeah. But I just want to mention that the people who do not believe or care about the evidence, about actual hard evidence, like things you can throw at people's heads and it will hurt them, are the narcissists, the borderliners, the psychopaths, the abusers. They do not care about the evidence. I've been told once by one such person that what was it in English? Evidence, logic, and what was the third one? Evidence, logic, reason, something that there was. I forgot what the third one was. But these things don't matter. Otherwise, logical person. Allegedly in studying STEM, but suddenly, when it was about something he didn't like, evidence, reason, witnesses didn't matter.
All right.
He would rather call the people affected delusional, despite having evidence.
Here is Vladimir Dragonov one more time. Wasn't there literally a woman named the hyena of, I think you meant to say Auschwitz? I don't know. I don't.
Yes, I keep forgetting her name.
Okay, crazy.
So I guess we misunderstood her. That's
That's why she just walked around with the same facial expression as Amber Heard or Brie Larson, and walked around happily shooting at random Auschwitz prisoners that she didn't like.
Jesus.
For fun.
Okay, holy hell.
Based.
All right, here is one more, and we'll get on with the video. Federal agents in your skin. All right. Women are never run the wrong. Isla Koch, victim of the patriarchy. Ghislaine Maxwell did nothing wrong. Also, it's hilarious that the fake thinks I needed the trial to be a misogynist. I make O.J. Simpson look like a pansy in comparison. Oh my God. All right. That the take thinks that the Amber Heard trial made everyone misogynist is, I don't know. Hard pass on that one for me, but anyway, let us start with this part of the video. Okay.
The manipulative woman who's deceiving or using her romantic partner in her cold, evil plots is a trope that dates all the way back to Lady Macbeth. Pop culture is full of conniving women like Cersei.
No.
I mean, you could say that as a story. Sure, it happened.
In general, the manipulative woman, who's also a real brat at the same time, goes all the way back to the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to do Shakespeare, you could do the manipulative man and Iago. So it's like, yeah, pick a story. If you're not attacking from the front, you're attacking from the side. So it doesn't matter if it's male or female. It doesn't matter if it's a sword or a lie or an accusation. It's the same, you're attacking. It's the same idea.
It dates all the way back to Macbeth, to Shakespeare, like just 200, 300 years ago. We have a couple millennia.
She's just listing
of this
random
shit, because there's a lot of people like that. There's men like that, and there's women like that.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's like, yep, for sure. Let's just keep going. It's fine.
Lannister, Wendy Bird, and Claire Underwood, who are more than comfortable lying to get what they want.
Playing incompetent is so exhausting.
But there's one example that defines this character in the modern consciousness and has basically become a template: Gone Girl.
Again?
Two people love each other and can't make that work.
Wasn't that? I haven't seen this one, but I've heard it's the story that Amber Heard modeled her abuse after, that her abuse story.
I think the take uses the Gone Girl example in like almost every other one of their videos. It's just constantly bringing up the stupid movie. It's an old movie. It's not that great. It's kind of dumb. It's kind of boring. If you don't get it, just get a synopsis on YouTube. I'm sure you could watch someone talk about it. It's not a big deal. Anyway. One more time from Vladimir Dragunov. The 19th Amendment was a mistake. Okay, fine. Yes, we're all misogynists because of the Amber Heard trial. Exactly. Oh, God.
That's the real tragedy. Kiss my cheek.
Gone Girl follows Amy Dunn faking her own kidnapping, planting false accusations of rape and abuse, murdering her ex-boyfriend, and trapping her husband into becoming a father.
I want a blood test. I want a paternity test.
I love tests.
Gone Girl shows how a woman like Amy is talented at justifying her actions. And despite how repugnant her deeds are, the story manages to make us potentially identify, root for, or at least enjoy watching her by putting us inside her head.
I don't know. I see this actress. She's really good at playing a psychopath. And she reminds me a lot of Amber Heard. That is true. That this woman, this character does not come across to me as a victim or anything. This is the exact kind of abuser that Amber Heard is. If she had the brains for it, I'm pretty sure she would try things like this.
Yeah, just Ben Affleck flick where it's all dramatic. I guess you could call it a thriller. I wasn't too excited, but I was like, yeah, whatever. Silly story. Vladimir, you're just throwing money at the screen, sir. Don't do that. What are you doing? Anyway, I'll try and read your next comment if it pops up next.
You think I'd let him destroy me and end up happier than ever? No fucking way. He doesn't get to win.
This is an updated version of the classic Lady Macbeth, one that's interested in exploring her psychology center stage, just like we see in Wendy Bird on Ozark, who uses her own kids.
Whoa. Wait, how is it the same as Lady Macbeth?
And Wendy
They
Bird
say
is
Shakespeare in the movie?
Wendy Bird is a very different character. She's a controlling wife, like, similar to Skylar in Breaking Bad. But contrary to that, Wendy Bird slowly grows a liking to being this manipulative, horrible, and ruthless person because she gets a taste of power. She's not entirely the full. She's more a sociopath, and throughout the story, it comes out that where that comes from. Like she's had an abusive childhood, where that comes from. Okay,
yeah.
But she's not a psychopath.
Yeah. So in Lady Macbeth, I don't know if you guys remember, she doesn't actually kill the king. She provides the weapon for Macbeth to kill the king with, but she's the one with the bloody hands because she has to clean everything off. But it's because she saw, or I think Macbeth saw the vision of him becoming king, and she started thinking, and she started plotting. Well, how do we do that? And her plan was, I got to kill the existing king. And you're like, okay. So I don't think it's the same scenario. It's like she's doing it for not only her husband, but for herself. But it's based off a prophecy or based off a vision. So,
yeah, it's a vision by three witches that he sees.
Right.
That Macbeth sees with his what was it? What's his friend called? Like Bernardo or something.
Something I can't recall. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So yeah.
And the witches are the weird sisters, the witches of fate, the Norns or the Sibyls or the Moiren. They have different names in different cultures, but it's a mythological figure that Shakespeare drew upon for that.
Yeah, and Lady Macbeth.
The weird sisters are the ones that like take the thread of fate. One spins it, one weaves it, and the last one cuts it, which is
just like in Disney's Hercules.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, okay, in Lady Macbeth, she does feel guilt. She tries to, out damn Spot, clean off the blood from her hands where there's no blood. And I think she dies off stage, or I can't remember how she dies. But
didn't she? She like kills herself in like the.
Everyone dies in Shakespeare plays.
Right. But she's not like this crazy mastermind. She just wanted to help her husband.
No.
She thought she had to kill the king to do so. She feels guilt after that. And then
well, they both feel guilt about it because I did Macbeth when I was at school. Because Duncan, who's the king, is Macbeth's friend and like one of the most trusted allies, which is why we're able to murder him.
Who dies in A Midsummer Night's Dream?
Oh, Frank.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I didn't get to that one. But yeah, Lady Macbeth in this one, in Macbeth, is very manipulative, and it's really her pushing, because Macbeth won't do it. She's the one who pushes him to do it.
Right, that's right. But she's not this psycho.
What has this got to do with like Amber Heard lying repeatedly in a trial and being found out with evidence?
The take woman believes that like these movies inspired people to think this way about manipulative women.
I take umbrage with the fact she's comparing Lady Macbeth to the girl in Gone Girl, which is not the same character at all. So
isn't the girl in Gone Girl just a nutter?
Yeah, exactly. She's crazy. She kills her ex-boyfriend. She does it to get attention from her husband who wants to break up with her, and then she thinks she's pregnant and all this other bullshit. So no, not the same story at all, not the same character.
What do we call those girls again? Like, we had a word for them.
Psychopaths?
No, like a type of girl. No, I can't remember. In my hometown, there's like a word for this type of girl who's crazy and does a lot of crazy stuff for attention. You know, like you call someone a Karen or something. It's like with a name, and I can't remember what name it was.
All right.
If only we knew English.
Old English.
Yeah.
You'll remember it eventually.
Yeah.
After the stream ends.
And Midsummer's Night Dream was a romantic comedy, so
everyone died.
People could still die in a comedic way.
Okay. Oh God. Anyway, that's good.
There were jokes in Romeo and Juliet.
That is a tragedy. That's a tragic story. Someone has to die in a tragedy.
Okay, it was ironic humor, but okay.
Oh, all right. It was kind of dumb how they died. Yeah, it's true, but okay.
So that's how love works.
We're so stupid. We died because we thought the other one was dead. Like, oh,
yes. But that's well, it's you can't see that as a metaphor for how retarded people act when they are just too stupid to get together.
The metaphor.
And their lives go different ways because they just didn't realize it.
Whisp, the metaphor is young love is usually stupid. That's the thing.
Especially in Italy. Anyway,
in general, everyone who's got young love, it's all stupid.
You should love like Londo Molari.
Sure.
No, you should never do anything like Londo Molari. No, just don't do anything.
Glass a planet. Okay, that's great.
His divorce was pretty good.
He has a life-sucking creature attached to his neck. I don't want to end up like that. Just because I got a bit horny at 13 years.
But he's not married to it.
Might as well have been.
The other life-sucking creatures that were attached to him, he divorced.
But anyway, so this whole thing, how media's portraying women as manipulative, and that made people think Amber Heard was automatically guilty.
The opposite. It's how the trial and our perception of the trial caused us to hate women.
Mm-hmm.
But I hated women before the trial.
I know.
I don't know. Everybody seemed to love certain other women in the trial, like Dr. Cupcake and Dr. Curry.
Me and my fiance, we watched all of the Johnny Depp trial throughout, every single bit whenever we could, and like, does my fiance hate women? Like, she's a woman. Well, yeah, women hate women. Actually, yeah. Did she
Unbelievable concept.
Did she just hate Amber? Well, actually, no. She really did hate Amber Heard. She was a Johnny Depp fan. Actually, don't involve that. Forget that whole conversation.
Maybe she just hates herself.
No.
All right. Here's one more donation.
Dr. Cupcake and the female lawyer. They were awesome.
Let's continue. Also, I'd like to point out. Oh, this is from Nick Gurr. Also, I'd like to point out that Gone Girl is just another one of those movies Ben Affleck stars in every few years right after it was found out he cheated on Jennifer Garner again. Also, both Amy and Nick were assholes in that movie. It was a forgettable movie. It wasn't that fun to watch. So yeah, it was silly. Anyway, he's married again, so good luck.
It was Stacy. They're Stacy's. These crazy girls. Blonde hair Stacy's.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're always crazy.
Don't name your kid Stacy if you live in the UK. All right.
Yeah.
In her criminal enterprises, or Sherry Palmer on 24, who is willing to do anything to ensure her husband wins the presidency, including getting him to sleep with another woman.
Putting another woman in my bed. Do you realize how sick that is?
Oh, come on. We chose a certain life. And we chose that a long time ago.
While these characters may be a little terrifying, they're undoubtedly fascinating. And our interest in these women has led to a surge of fictional depictions of real people who lied or pulled off elaborate deception.
All right, so now she's changing the narrative to because other stories had these megalomaniacal women in them, therefore we perceive Amber Heard as such.
But isn't she admitting now that there are real women who do this stuff?
I don't know.
The thing is, though, I'm going to be brutally honest. There are so many women like this. Like women, you've got to accept that they are slimy creatures because their whole thing is sabotage and personal destruction. Like with men is very physical and violence and stuff. Women, it's sabotage and snarky comments and backstabbing and. So, yeah, women are mainly like this.
Yeah, they're creatures from outer space who just raid our planet to eat men's livers.
Fair enough. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Like Anna Delvey in Inventing Anna, Elizabeth Holmes in The Dropout, and even Gypsy Rose Blanchard in The Act, who was a victim of her mother's abuse, but some speculate could have also been a criminal mastermind.
I'm sorry, but that girl is a beast.
House of Gucci depicts the real-life scheming of Patrizia Reggiani, who married into the Gucci family and spent her life trying to take it over, up to and including taking out a hit on her ex-husband Maurizio. Patrizia has her own Lady Macbeth in Pina, who encourages her to go to any lengths necessary to get what she wants.
Maybe it's time for you to take back.
I think the take woman should admit that they're not fascinated by these women because they're mysterious or some nonsense, but because they're power fantasies. They want to be like them.
I think
because anyone who's not a manipulative cunt, sees these women and thinks, I want to be 100 miles away from this monster.
Yeah, I don't think we admire the villains in a murder mystery or whatever because they kill people. It's because they have this elaborate scheme that's so unbelievable. And they're so, whatever the plot demands them to be, intelligent,
I don't,
clever.
Who admires them? Really? These are evil people. They're not. You can admire Sherlock Holmes for being able to solve a crime, but to admire a psychopath to commit a crime.
Well,
that means you have the power. That means you have a power fantasy in you.
Well, no, that
very
means
likely that you want to be able to do that yourself. You want to be able to pull off this evil act and get away with it.
Think of it the way Sherlock. Yeah, well, think of the way Sherlock admires Moriarty, not because he's evil, but because he does things that no one else can do. And he's no longer bored because he sees this puzzle he could put together, and that's fun for him. So it's not so much, hey, wow, that evil guy's killing someone, that's cool. It's, hey, wow, no one would even conceive of doing that in that way. I have to respect him for doing it that way, and then you figure out why.
Women look at this and admire these murderous psycho bitches. They don't do it because they're doing such intelligent things, because they're usually just of average intelligence. They admire them because they're powerful, get away with the evil, revengeful shit that all these other jealous women also harbor. And they want to get away with their vengeful shit. It's not about how it's done, it's that it's done. It's the difference. Sherlock admires Moriarty because of how he does it. Not that he does it.
I think it's everything. It's not just how. It's what he's trying to accomplish, how he's doing it, the people involved, destroying of evidence, hiding of tracks, disguises. With Sherlock, it's everything. It's not just one or two things.
The Criminal Imagination in the chat actually said something interesting. Don't the same people who love this stuff also trash the Joker? And it's like,
yes, all of them did.
Yeah. It's like if a Joker, like the sequel that they make of Lady Gaga in it. I bet you all the people who hated Joker love the next movie because it's got a woman in it doing bad stuff.
Oh, really?
So,
But they're gonna kill Lady Gaga? That would be so based.
Lady Gaga is the new Margot Robbie, apparently.
That's why I say these people are these are all secret abusers who want the women to be the abusers so that they can project a power fantasy. They don't want the men to be these psycho abusers because that's a man that he would abuse me. They can't project themselves onto the man. They can't empathize. They needed to be a woman, and then they can love it because then they can imagine that they are that.
Yeah, it's
really petty.
I'm going to bring it back to the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. When all the stuff was coming out, you could see that she was quite clearly just lying through her teeth. The number of women who were like more upset about the fact that they were being told they can't abuse people. It wasn't the fact that Amber Heard was getting, caught out. It was more the fact that they were being told, no, you can't actually abuse men and get away with it, and that's what angered people. So I can see where Whisp is coming from with the fact that the reason why they enjoy these characters, women enjoy these characters, because they get to live out the fantasy of never having their comeuppance. But the thing is like, women have always been able to manipulate men because that's how women need to do it, because they don't have the physicality of men.
I once talked with a court assistant to a judge, and she was a 25 years long feminist activist for women's shelters.
Mm-hmm.
And the point where I was just too baffled to reply was that she's fighting against the injustice that women get abused so much, because men being abused by their wives was brought up, and she brought up, but the bigger injustice is that so many women are locked up in prison for killing their husbands with poison because they have no other way out. And we're talking about in Germany here, in the 90s and following. You have that I not even remotely do I buy that bullshit. That you have no way out in Germany of all places.
Well,
get away from your husband. I have seen so many state attorneys getting active on behalf of women feeling defamed, feeling slighted for someone when a man files files any charges against her. The charges are dismissed, and the man then gets a defamation lawsuit started by the state attorney. State attorneys are only to become active by themselves on severe crime. Alleged defamation crap is not a severe crime. Severe crimes would be murder, organized crime, drug-related stuff, things like that, but not the state attorney white knighting for the woman. Lots of these cases, the woman hasn't even filed a countercharge. The state attorney just does it and usually that state attorney is a woman herself. So there is sexist bias going on in German courts, but it's not the way feminists portray it. It's rather that due to how feminists do portray the world, they see the need to and justification to do the opposite type of injustice. So that's why they act so much out against men and pro women, so that female criminals get away with stuff, because they really have in their head, oh, the court system is out against women, so we need to do the opposite. And that's just delusional, and that's what this feminist movement has done. And now we have the same thing with this racial stuff.
Okay, we are 4 minutes and a half in. Let's keep going.
Don't let these forces around you dictate who you are.
The Girl from Plainville dramatizes the story of Michelle Carter, who was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in the death of Conrad Roy after she seemingly manipulated him to commit suicide over texts.
And I loved Finn, and he loved me. He loved all of you guys.
Still, these stories are so noteworthy precisely because it is less common for a woman to be the perpetrator of a nationally recognized crime. And
not nationally recognized. That's why they all get away with this shit. Driving their victims to suicide is a very, very, very female thing to do. Because it is actually the perfect crime.
Mm-hmm.
There is no... How do you trace it back? If there is no goodbye letter that actually implicates the abuser, no fucking way. And then these cases are so difficult to untangle. There's usually so little documented that it's hard to pin anything on the actual abuser, while the actual abuser who drove the victim to suicide will play hero. I wanted to help so much. I did everything I could. And victim at the same time, that it was really draining me. I just couldn't help anymore. It just wasn't possible, and or other shit. Or when she snapped, it got really, really dangerous for me. I was fearing for my life. As we said before, or as I said before, when part of the gaslight, and gaslighting is a means to drive people to suicide. Part of that is to make you snap and act out, so that the gaslighter can play victim. So everything plays out for the gaslighter. The only way to unmask a gaslighter is to record everything, every conversation, and since there are many states and countries where that is not allowed, you need a witness. You need someone with you all the time who can testify on your behalf for you that the things that you went through were real, that the things that were said were actually said. And also, as a reality check for you, that the things that the gaslighter said were actually untrue, and your senses are fine. Your perception of reality is fine. The gaslighter just wants you to believe you're not.
Alrighty, here is Vladimir Dragunov one more time. I'm starting to think that women should be exempt from the 13th Amendment. Oh dear. That is never an amendment that's in contention at all. So no.
What does that one do?
Slavery. So,
It's slavery. Hey, but as Joe Biden says, no amendment is what was it, solidified in law.
Not a single one.
Yep.
No.
So slavery can come back in America.
Okay,
pretty based. I think like Bears is looking forward to that.
All right. Here's Hoke Die Anarchy, I think.
Hoch die Anarchie.
All right. Look at all the times it's happened with young girls in schools in the U.S. There's so many times girls have bullied other girls to death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there was one time, what was it, in the UK? A girl stabbed and cut up another girl like in an argument and everything. Like, I can't remember. I think they used like scissors or something. I can't remember what was used. He stabbed this girl, and obviously it was really terrible and really bad. And this girl who stabbed this girl was like villainized, and papers. It turned out the girl who'd got stabbed was the biggest bully in the entire school and had traumatized and victimized this girl for 5 years.
Oh,
and after 5 years, she just snapped. And it's a bit like, yeah, this is how women do things. They victimize people and traumatize them, and
Yep.
Anyhow.
All right.
Nothing got done about it. But anyway, we're moving off the topic a little bit.
No, we're kind of still on.
All right. Here is, where are we? One more donation from, screen. Where my screen go? Here it is. From Boston Massive Two Shits. All right. Thank God Depp and her didn't have any kids together. She would have Munchausened that little N-word's ass, or he would have grown up to be the next Anders Breivik or co-ed killer. I don't know. I think Johnny Depp's influence would have been pretty big. He loves kids, so maybe he would have protected him or her. Who knows?
Yeah, but there's a hint that psychopathy is genetic, or at least has genetic markers for it.
Who knows? I think Depp needs some. Does he have kids? He does have kids.
Also, borderline. Borderline is also genetic, has a genetic predisposition.
I'm quite sure Johnny Depp has kids.
Is Johnny Depp
Yes.
has kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he has.
Older. Yes.
Just
Kids,
not from
not
her.
with, no, not from Heard. No,
Yeah. Okay.
Amber Heard is a child.
Yeah.
From someone else.
Also, we also had this case in several of these fandoms where the usually female fans drove creators to depression or suicide because they made art wrong in quotation marks. I think was that in Steven Universe where the creator, one of the artists, drew the one of the fat characters thinner than usual.
Oh, let's not bring up Steven Universe. Let's not even go.
But that's where these horrible women gather.
No,
My mind went
not Steven Universe.
straight
It's
to Xander or Sander Cohen from BioShock, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
Anyway. Here's Vladimir Dragonoff. Go on with the video. Thank you, sir. Remember, equal rights means equal fights.
Oh, I like that.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. There will never be an equal fight between a man and a woman. It is so one-sided in favor of the man. Yeah, like there's a reason why you always got told you should never hit a woman, because let's be honest with you, no woman's standing up to a full-blown punch from a bloke. I've seen women headbutt a guy and nearly knock themselves unconscious. Right, and these were gorillas of women. Like, these were the butch lesbians.
Oh, did they climb on a ladder before?
No, even they'll have picked on like a very small, wheedly guy, go up, headbutt them, and you can see them stumble because even though the guy doesn't look that big and strong, they're still stronger than the woman, and it's just embarrassing.
So are 15-year-old boys.
Yeah, it's just so yeah. Equal rights means equal fights, but yeah, let's not even kill ourselves.
They're trying to promote more women's football in Germany, and it's just
they can play
comedic.
They're good.
Yeah, no.
Smud, Jesus Christ!
Have you ever watched that for real?
The women's, yes, I have watched them. Believe it or not.
We watched them. Like, I'm even saying this. Like, my sister-in-law plays football for a team called she used to play for Sheffield Wednesday's ladies team.
Sheffield Wednesday? What?
Yeah, it's a team in the United Kingdom.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we were talking FIFA.
Anyway, yeah, just look them up. Anyway, but even like as much as I really like, I really like her, but yeah, it's just really poor standards. Even like up into the national level, it's like if you'd watched the Women's Euros that was on this summer. Oh my God, well done. At least they can kick the ball around with their feet. But oh my god, anything else?
Do not compare women to men. That's the first problem. But if you look at the actual chart on FIFA, I think they're at least close, if not tied, with the USA. So they're way up there.
With what? As in, like, what, men and women's levels, or
the
what,
points score? Like they base it off of scored points. So whether you're in a tournament,
the FIFA standings.
I don't know what the standard is, but it's just you base everything off how many points are scored during a season, and then you tabulate that, or you accumulate that over the years.
Smart, you do know that you can cheat with statistics.
I'm
not with points. Those are public data.
Figure out what's actually trying to say here. Because I've got a Canadian trying to say, tell me about football, and I'm just stood there going, okay, I'm from England. Football is everything. What are you on about?
Meanwhile, I'm playing like a drunk mission in Red Dead 2. I'm like, what the hell is happening? Why is everyone black?
Are you on the? You're on a quiet time.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you have to find Lenny. Yeah, it's a great mission. Anyway,
good, but there's the football managers which Germans love to play for some reason, because I guess we are more autistic than other people. And
even in England. Oh my god!
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I'm so sorry.
My country invented football. Why?
Everything is invented in Germany.
No, but
nothing is invented elsewhere.
Football managers are basically playing Excel sheets, and the funny thing, and these super dumb football fans, they love to play with Excel sheets for some reason, because there's football attached to it. The bit is that they added the women's football teams to it now, and due to everything being online, getting user data and so on, they figured that 98% of players are never touching any of the women's teams.
No.
Yes.
No, they don't. But no, I know they don't. Because
so
I've seen in the chat about them getting beaten. The United States women's team got beaten 5-2 by a bunch of under-15s about 2 months after they won the World Cup. So at that point in time, the United States women's team was technically the best women's team in the world, and they were beaten 5-2 by 15-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And then
was it
just
a
before
thing?
Switzerland's women's team lost 6-1 to a group of to some under-14s. Sweden, who are the second best team in the world, lost, I think it's either 5-0 or 7-0 to a bunch of under-15s in a match. The Australian football team lost like 9-0. So
what 2 to 3 years of testosterone can do to you?
Yeah, but it's just like I mean I've watched women's football since 2005, so it's been quite a long time, and I just watch it for all the comedy moments, but also they're getting a little bit better, but it's not what they're trying to make out.
That's easy in the Football Manager. That's easy. You just patch the women team stats so high, so unnaturally high, that they're on par or better than the male players.
Anyway, let us continue. Here are a bunch of super chats from Vladimir. Thanks, Vladimir, again. I want to see a men versus women American football game. I would not. That would.
I've actually been involved in a men's versus women's rugby game.
Oh my god!
Yeah. The women were allowed to do full-on tackle. The men had to do like tackling. So we won 58-17.
What a handicap!
No, you would not want to watch a men versus women soccer match. That would not be fun. You'd be bored within 10 minutes. It would just be
because you'd laugh for the first 10 minutes, and then you just think, "Oh,
this is sad.
Please,
this
ref,
like,
just blow the whistle." It's like it'll always remind me of I think Monty Python. I think it was Monty Python and the Meaning of Life. And there's the rugby match between the school kids and the teachers. If you ever watch that movie, watch that scene, and you'll understand. It's like, imagine the kids are women and the men are, the teachers are men, and they're beating the kids so badly that they're just literally, these grown men are stamping on kids and jumping up and down on them and like punching them in the face. It's so funny, and that's just what men versus women would be like.
And here we are.
All right. 2 more super chats. We'll continue with the video. Vladimir Dragonov Lini.
Lenny! It's Red Dead 2. Oh. It's the mission that Mark's playing.
Okay. And the Giga Chad. Hey, Giga Chad. Britain invented football and they suck. Mega L.
Well, number one, we don't play as Britain, so ha 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 ha. Number two, England just won the European Championships, so hooray! we beat the Germans. So
how many Germans are still on our team anyway?
How many Germans are still in? There was loads of them. I mean, there was a few Austrians who were merged in, but
I mean, they had like five black people at this point.
Don't start, because the England team got called racist because there was no black people on it. Oh, it was great.
That's pretty good.
Oh, black people would make the team better, and the manager picked no black people, and we won the championship. It was like, oh, that's ironic. That's oof. Like, oh dear, diversity is our strength. Until all the white girls win. Actually, to one more thing. The only reason why the men lost the European Championship last year is because all the black players missed their penalties. So, oh no, penalties are now racist.
All right. Well, we're 5 minutes in, and I still don't know where they're going with this whole examples of movies and shows.
Hold on, Giga Chad, this is the first time Britain beat Germany without America's help. We've beaten Germany numerous times. What are you on about? There's a thing called pre-1945. You might want to read up on it a little bit.
Yes.
Left, right, and center.
When beating the Danes doesn't count.
The wonders of nation building prior to America. Yeah, it is a thing.
Man.
Anyway,
it's amazing.
Let's keep going.
Unfortunately, the characteristics of the manipulative female perpetrator can also be projected onto female victims who don't actually bear those traits. The idea that women frequently lie about being assaulted is a gross misconception.
No, it's not. It's actually kind of true. Because, Jesus!
It's an epidemic, really. They play as victim, especially then when they have done something atrocious.
The number of times, I can't even give you a number of how many times I've had friends or even myself accuses me of even not done because a woman's lied.
I think it's about being attacked, not that she was attacked. Like she was actually attacked, but she's lying she wasn't, as opposed to saying she was attacked.
Yeah. No. Even with this, it's in real life. The number of times you'll see a news report in the UK that this woman's been she was raped, and it turns out she actually had consensual sex. It's just that 3 years later she decided that she didn't really like the guy, and so she's retroactively accusing him of rape.
Yeah, and this
and that's you can do that in the UK, and it's like, what the fuck?
That's not a state of justice and law. Law, yes, justice, not. But this thing on the screen there, this quote from 2012, I think I remember that, and it is a false thing, or it is mischaracterized. I remember that was big during the whole 1 in 4 women has been raped. Hell.
Oh,
that was a crazy number. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
Let's put it this way. They made the whole Me Too movement, and it fucking collapsed because of how many people lied.
Because it turned out that the founders of the Me Too movement themselves were lying.
Yeah, how can you if it's so true? How can the whole fucking all women had to do was be truthful, and they couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, they made this whole thing so that women wouldn't get sexually abused, and then women decided to abuse it by lying. And you're like, women, why do you always hinder each other?
Why do you always hit yourselves?
Yeah, why do you hate yourselves that much?
All right.
They all think that they can get something out of it.
Let us get on with whatever she's trying to say. Here's again, Hoke Die Anarchy. Why are you always lying?
It's like people who just throw trash on the street because they think, oh, it's okay because it's just me doing it. But then it's 10,000 people who think that, oh, it's just me doing it. It's okay when I do it. So when 10,000 women think that, oh, it's okay when I lie about being abused, then that makes women in general look kind of shit and untrustworthy.
I'm just thinking here, obviously the name of the video is How the Manipulative Victim Trope Shaped the Depp-Heard Trial. Is this all, I'm hoping, well, I'm not hoping really, but she's going to say all this, and this is why we didn't believe Amber Heard. Is that really do you think that's where she's going to end up going with this video?
She hopes that we will fall for the listen and believe bullshit.
I mean, because unfortunately,
no matter how contradictory it is.
Unfortunately, I listened to all the evidence that was provided in the trial, and that's what made me come to my conclusion with it. Why, Vladimir, the next one? Why is everyone so? Anyway.
Yeah, guys, we're not going to talk about football anymore. Okay, so let's stop that talk.
Technically, it still only counts as a draw because it went to penalties. But we did lose because of diversity. If we'd picked people who could actually take penalties, we probably would have done better. But we picked 3 people just because they were black, and I'm not even going to lie about that. They were literally only picked because of the colour of their skin.
I think England loses to Italy because of cuisine.
Oh no, but we beat Italy really badly in most wars apart from against the Romans, and the Romans don't even class themselves as Italians. So
yeah, they don't.
I don't know. Also, Giga Chads, it's called 1917 when America entered World War One. You America literally arrived so late on. They were fighting after the peace deal had done. That's how late on you arrived.
All right, here's Giga Chad in the donation section. Okay, here we go. If you want to ruin a man's reputation, tell the truth. If you want to ruin a man's what? If you want let me try this one more time. If you want to ruin a man's reputation, tell the truth. Period. If you want to ruin a man's reputation, tell a lie. Okay, so both would work. Hawk, you guys made the right call with the all-white football team. Black people and soccer go together like black people in swimming.
Oh
God.
Good.
All I'm going to say is, how many amazing African teams do you see? Exactly. Moving on.
All right.
Sorry. Giga Chad just said, sorry, meant to ruin a woman's reputation, tell a lie. Autocorrect. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I was a little confused with that. Vladimir Dragunov, and then we're going to go. I saw that Canada had a 1 in 2 grape statistic. Okay. I did not see that. That's insane. That's
I don't remember. It's like insanely high numbers.
If you could point to that article.
And oh God.
Yeah, that's just unheard of. That's ridiculous. Come on.
Where was it? I remember
the skeptic scene was still somewhat functional.
If it was a publication from my country, I don't think that would fly. People would be freaking out. That's retarded.
I remember once in one university they were talking about a massive rape culture, and they're going like, oh my God, these women being raped by all these men. It turned out it was just these 2 guys who were raping these same women, but then these women were going back to these guys.
That's all standard stuff.
And it was a bit like, well, why do you not just not go near these 2 guys? Or do something about these 2 guys, and the women were like, oh, but we like them sometimes.
Yeah, that was the invention of the term rape culture, 8 years ago or whatever. It was just the dumbest. Really, there's a group cabal of men or whatever, and they have methods and techniques for raping women. Right. Yeah. They meet
I think
on
that's called
Sundays.
Saudi Arabia.
It was the silliest to say that in a modern society is like, I don't think so. I really don't.
All men care about is raping women. It's like, listen, men don't care about women. We literally are so fed up of women. It's
we care about masonry and limestone. How's that? We don't really care about talking about women.
It's like we care about drinking, sports, and porn. We don't really care about raping women.
Look, and if the last years have taught us anything, it's that men don't care about women. Men care about boobs. They don't necessarily care what they're attached to.
Yeah.
One more donation from the Giga Chat. Then we'll continue on with the video. Jeez. Okay. Damn it all. I screwed up my typing, or my saying. Yes, you told us. Was trying to say, to ruin a man's reputation, tell a lie. To ruin a woman's reputation, tell the truth. Gonna find the inventor of autocorrect and beat him to death with a tire iron. Okay. All right.
Want to give it another try? And another super chat to correct yourself?
We got it, Giga Chad. Loud and clear. Thank you, sirs. Let's continue.
The percentage of false reports of sexual assault is estimated to be between 2% and 10%, and is likely even lower because that figure includes allegations that weren't seen as having sufficient evidence to prosecute, which doesn't necessarily mean they weren't true. So why is...
Wait. If it's lower than 2% and the evidence is not sufficient enough to prosecute, chances are it didn't happen.
Oh my God! No. It's enough if you file it too late and you can't take evidence because it's still up.
Yeah, but Wisp, the people filing it too late. Why are you filing it too late? Oh well, I'm fighting for my life. Right? If you're fighting for your life, then obviously it's been done. But it never turns out like that. It is literally, and this is a major problem, and this is something that's happened in the UK. It's retroactive accusations. We're talking about people making accusations against people 40 years later.
Oh yeah, that's insane.
And you're like, wait, why are you waiting 40 years? And it's not like big celebrities.
Yeah, and
like
the Kavanaugh thing was a thing. What had that?
Do you want to know something? Do you want to know something truthful? I've had an accusation against me thrown my way after I had a drunken fumble with a woman, and she decided to accuse me because she didn't want to tell her husband that she cheated on him. Anyway, I was arrested, interviewed, all this sort of stuff. They came back to me and said, "Oh yeah, she said that it wasn't true what she made the accusation, so we're dropping all charges." And I was like, "Oh well, can I press charges against her for making a false accusation?" I was told by the police not to do that because it meant more paperwork for them. And me being, I was like 20. Yeah, I was 20 or 21 then. I just went, "Oh, forget about it." But that actually happened. So this woman just made up an accusation. So there was no evidence.
Go through all this shit, potentially destroying your life forever.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, there was no evidence. Even the police said there's no evidence of anything here. So what she's trying to say is, because I had no evidence, I'm still guilty because the woman said it. So...
Do you have a criminal record because of that?
No, I have a criminal record because of other stuff.
Of course. Based.
Everyone gets a parking fine.
All right, we got one super chat.
Also, I said the N-word on Twitter, so I'm technically a terrorist in the UK.
Yes. You're on the list.
Vladimir Dragunov says it was a PSA from like the early 2000s.
What was a PSA from the early 2000s?
Don't know.
We need another super chat explaining that. Please get on it.
Just write it down in the chat. Don't give me more.
Just write it down, but like only 5 words a super chat.
Anyway,
every word $1.
Now it's the Google chat. Okay, the Google chat, whatever that is. The fear of retaliation from powerful people didn't stop the woman who filed child rape charges against Roman Polanski back in the 70s, and he was the Hollywood director. She didn't wait a moment to report him, and he fled the country.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a
Yeah.
well. How it should be.
For real cases, that's the important thing. Is real cases need the support and need to be convinced to go to the police right away. This whole thing about, but the procedure is re-traumatizing and everything. Yeah, but you will regret not doing it.
All right. Let's try and get going here. Vladimir, one more time. What can be asserted without evidence can also be dismissed without evidence. There you go.
That's Simpson's razor. Very important. Learn the 3 razors, and you're pretty set up to make not shitty arguments.
Okay. Let us continue.
Is the devious female mastermind trope so popular when it's in tension with the evidence? For one thing, the trope is narratively satisfying, precisely because it goes against the current of power in our society.
Another mistake here. So she tries to turn this, but the real numbers are really, really low, even if we give her the benefit of the doubt, she tries to then paint that as there's no one, which is wrong. So she tries to make a black and white argument out of this to again try to convince us that these women now again do not exist. Although before she admitted that they do exist, but now they don't exist again.
Can I just say, who honestly believes that men have all the power in the world, especially in today's world?
Me.
Not in the West.
It's like men have all the power. It's like, okay then.
They keep saying that so they can bully themselves into power.
Well, the fact that she said that it's interesting when this trope is in tension with the evidence, which is like saying, well, anything that disagrees with the evidence is going to raise an eyebrow. It has nothing to do with the personality of some person's testimony. So that's, I mean, hey, it sounds like she's lying. Who's telling the truth? Oh, it's not her. Okay, fair enough. That's it. We don't suddenly hate women now.
And also, the numbers of actual psychopaths are estimated to be about 2% of the population. That's quite a big number if you think about it. The prison population is comprised of about 50% psychopaths.
At least from that 2%, at least 1.9 is in Germany. Just before Whisp tells everyone.
Okay.
No.
Anyway, let's.
Yes.
We're on a roll. Let's keep going.
Most of us do know that in the vast majority of abuse cases, women tend to be the victims of men. But imagining the reverse is surprising and allows a movie like Gone Girl to build up its suspense by subverting our expectations.
Oh, the abuse,
God.
fear, the threat of violence.
It's not subverting your expectations. We know exactly what's going through her mind the entire movie. She is narrating it to us. We're not like, oh, she's the bad guy? No, it's obvious. We're not like, oh, this is a film where I expected other guy to be the villain. It's like they're all kind of shitty to each other, but she's a psycho.
Yeah.
That's not subverting expectations. We knew what we were going into. It's not like, oh, this is a story about a good girl, not a gone girl. Gone does not mean just physically gone. We mean mentally gone.
Yeah, she's just nuts.
Exactly. It's kind of like the story about the crazy woman. Oh, I wasn't expecting a psycho in this story who happens to be female. I couldn't see it coming.
Yeah, but you were lucky to never have met one in real life.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The dead eyes are so unsettling when you see them.
All right, keep going.
Nick thought he was the writer.
Dramatically speaking, a complicated semi-villainous female character gets to have some of the fun of all those charismatic male anti-heroes like Tony Soprano and Walter White who have been dominating our screens for decades. But that doesn't mean it should automatically
Tony Soprano's
be taken
not
as
having
fact.
fun.
I don't know what you're about to say about Amber Heard, but oh my god. Every time I see that woman's face with that fucking trial. He's an actor, supposedly.
Is she trying to say she really likes seeing females on screen who can act like Walter White or Tony Soprano or whomever? It's like, okay, I guess that's fun.
But those are actors who can act.
Well, sure, but I don't see how because there are female characters in Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad that are female that do bad things. So
and the odd thing is with Tony Soprano, the actor is really good at portraying a person with normal emotions. Like he looks human in some scenes, and the rest of the time he looks like a sociopath.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and it's really, really fucking creepy to see Tony Soprano just have this dead-eyed stare where you think like there's no human inside.
Yeah, there's lots of good performances in The Sopranos. Because my family's Italian, and I knew uncles who read about the mafia, and they said the first episode is pretty much a mob guy talking to his psychiatrist. Like that would never happen. So it's like, all right, yeah, I guess you're right. So he never took it seriously.
But the psychiatrist setup is there to give us like some internal monologue of his.
I get it, but this would never happen. It was just this...
It's just a cinematic trick. But I agree.
Anyway,
you don't. Yeah, but my point is that if she started to go back this trial, I'm just.
We got to connect it to something because she's been rambling on about other shows and movies, and it's like
and she's also bringing back this clip of Amber Heard from the trial because it's the closest thing where she looks somewhat like she might be crying, but it's really just the sweat on her face from the sun.
No, she's not. She doesn't. No one cries like that.
Yeah,
the only time I've ever made that face is when I've had a really crappy meal and I'm trying to squeeze it out in the morning. Right?
Yeah.
There's no way that's her crying. Cry like that. Honestly,
some of the faces she made are so extreme and obvious that they do not fit to what she's trying to convey. Like when she did the Beaker face from the Beaker Muppet. Where it's like the mouth just goes down and her chin is all wrinkled up. That's a face you make when you're really disbelieving something, and that's a reaction of her body to what she just said.
Yeah, but
she's trying to look, and she's trying to look sad with it. She thinks that's a sad face.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's a colorful super chat from Vladimir. Thank you again. Starting to wish this uber oppressive mega patriarchy that treats women as nothing but walking incubators that I keep hearing about was real.
Go to Saudi Arabia.
Maybe not North America.
Yeah.
Not North America. I said Saudi Arabia.
I wasn't referring to you, Whisp. That's okay. One more, and then we'll keep on going. Is this the woman narrator from Watch Mojo?
No, I don't think so.
No, yeah.
Could be as lifeless, but no, she is way dumber, though.
Yeah, Watch Mojo is in the ballpark, but not the same, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we are almost halfway done. Although they'll probably have like a minute and a half of stupid bullshit at the end. Who knows? Yeah. I'm this person. We did this. It's like, we don't care.
Ooh.
Anyway.
When was this video made?
July.
By the way.
This year.
This July.
Yeah.
Will they mention Donald Trump?
Oh, it could happen. You know.
I'm just trying to think because
it's not a Maggie video, but it's not too far removed. So yeah, it could.
Yeah, happen. I know. I just feel like we've obviously. Yeah.
Bring up the M word. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Okay. No more money. Please stop. Sergeant Major Misogyn. Oh, jeez. Tony Soprano is not an anti-hero. He's a villainous protagonist. Okay, that's very similar. The show demonstrates no matter how charming he and his friend may be, they're thugs and killers to their core, like how Tony drowns Chris in his own blood, or when Polly kills his mom's friend.
Yeah. See, with that, I know Tony kills Chris, but the thing is with that one, it's Chris had literally relapsed back into drugs, and it was threatening Chris's child. and because you see in the scene, he looks in the back seat of the car crash and sees the car seat, and that's when he makes the decision to do it because he realizes Chris is just a danger to everybody and everything. So there's a reason for him doing that, but I do agree he is just a villain, and he's murdered a hell of a lot of other people that you could have named. He's also ordered numerous hits on people. So, yeah. Oh well.
It's one of those shows, I think, if you like TV, before we had like Breaking Bad and shows along those lines.
The Sopranos is amazing.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to start watching it again.
It's kind of like taking the not the idea of The Godfather, but the world of The Godfather, putting it into a smaller setting, a more humane setting, and instead of romanticizing it, just making it.
Oh yeah, because
real.
Pretty much like everybody's dead at the end of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mobster slice of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Okay, keep going.
Indicative of many real women's behavior, the Depp-Heard trial was consumed like entertainment.
This trial was conducted like
No,
a sports
not
event.
entertainment.
It was shown live on TV.
So
It's
it
fat.
could be very easy to conflate it with familiar entertainment narratives.
No, that's you projecting and making up shit. You're gaslighting again. It's not that people watch this for entertainment. It's that they were fascinated by the sheer insanity of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
How brashful, was that the word? This Amber Heard side was with everything, include to the point where she submitted to pictures about a bruise that were about different events at different times, if not even different years, that were the same picture.
It was people didn't care about the Amber Heard and Depp trial until it started becoming so clearly obvious that everything that Amber Heard was saying was bullshit, and people tuned in because her lies kept getting more and more and more to the point that where people were just like watching, going, "What's she going to lie about now? What's she going to do now? What's she like? What insanity?"
Yeah,
I mean,
it's less for entertainment. It's more for what the hell is this 7-car pile up that she is producing herself? Sorry for interrupting.
Whisp and Mark, you'll understand this reference. It's exactly like in Red Dwarf when Rimmer objects to Crichton defending him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And keeps saying objection. That's what the Amber Heard trial turned into. Her own lawyers objected their own question. It was
objection, but you asked me that question that I'm answering you.
Look, you objected your own. Objecting your own defense counsel. It's like, oh my god, how can you like be this stupid? But that's what happened with this is what happened with Amber Heard. He lied and lied and lied, and I don't know if you know on Twitter that they had I think her name was Eve Barlow, and she was a massive supporter of Amber Heard.
She got kicked out of the jury room.
The courtroom. Anyway, Amber Heard's now stabbed that Eve in the back, and that Eve Barlow's now on Twitter slagging Amber Heard off. Right. So this is how bad this whole thing is. It was like, and Johnny Depp was like so normal throughout the whole thing, and yet Amber Heard was ridiculous, and that's why people tuned in.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just like, it was entertainment because she made it entertainment because she was just like retarded. I'm sorry to say this.
Yeah, it's like so. And most psychopaths are not competent psychopaths. These characters we see in these shows and movies, they are rather competent psychopaths because they can bring up elaborate plots and they won't get caught up in their own lies. Amber Heard is not a competent psychopath. She constantly stumbles over her own shit. She contradicts what she said just a second ago, the last sentence. And, well, not a psychopath, but probably at least a narcissist, if not a sociopath. Our favorite communist disingenuous blob, Vosh.
Also, Razor Fist? Oh.
No.
The fact that you just said communist blob, and I'm like, well, that doesn't really narrow it down.
Well, I like.
Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
Yeah,
but he also contradicts himself over what he said the last sentence. You could cut him. You could cut any conversations he has with people up and just cut it together so that on the left side you have Walsh arguing for a point, and on the right side arguing completely against the point, as if it's two different people. And the same you could do with Amber Heard.
Well, there were times in the trial with Amber Heard's lawyers. I can't remember her name, the older lady, and
Elaine.
Yeah,
Elaine.
Yeah, the female person that was objecting to her. I think she objected. There's only a small number of objections you can make. There's like hearsay, there's like leading the witness, there's foundation, and there's like
foundation
and like relevancy. And she just said every single one at once. It was so funny. And then the other lawyer was like, I have nothing more to say because all your questions were all forms of objection that you should not have even written down.
Yeah.
It's all
thing that I had happen in a courtroom was that the enemy lawyer, because his client didn't tell him everything about the situation, is that first he laughed very condescendingly, and then later on, when the actual situation was explained to him, about technical issues and how everything is set up and how everything works, he stammered with, I don't know anything about that. I object on principle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, cool. That must feel really horrible for a lawyer, because you think you know everything and you can just tear the other side apart, because your job is to know how the other side will react before the other side reacts. And so when your client omits tons of relevant shit to you, you will do really dumb shit and feel like really lost and like made fun of. And that is probably also how many of Amber Heard's lawyers felt.
Oh, it was, you could tell. I mean, let's put it this way. It got to the point where even Johnny Depp wasn't even answering questions because he was just waiting to hear the word objection come into a sentence. And even the judge was like, well, what are you objecting to? It's like, oh, well, it's hearsay. And it's like, he's saying what he did.
You asked him.
Yeah, it's like... So what did Miss Heard do? Well, she did objection hearsay. Well, you don't even know what I'm going to say. And then, I mean, when they brought up the fucking like People's Magazine headlines of like utter crap headlines, and they were saying like, "Oh, what, you shouldn't object to these because these are evidence." And then Johnny Depp tried to read these headlines, and they went objection hearsay. It's like, well, this is your evidence. Oh, it was such a. It was such a. I'm glad it happened because it outed somebody as a despicable human being, but also it was just such an embarrassment. This entire thing was just an embarrassment of a trial, and it should never have got to this level.
Right. And she's trying to appeal. She hired new lawyers, I heard, this past week.
The thing is, she's supposedly broke, so she can't pay him. So she's appealing, and the appeal costs more than what Johnny Depp wants. How does that work?
Well, when
out?
you're millions in debt, when you're already millions in debt, you can spend millions more. So that's not a problem. You just need to be in debt far enough.
Government, though, they can't just like print more money.
Elon's gonna pay for it.
Oh.
Anyway, let's keep going.
Like a mini-series about a femme fatale who needed to be defeated with a guilty verdict. Countless people have...
There is... Okay, guys, this is not criminal case. This is a civil court. You aren't found guilty in a civil court. It's a defamation. You're found liable or you're not found liable. She is found liable.
But in the court of public opinion, she was found to be an incredibly lying bitch. And do you know why she was found out to be an incredibly lying bitch? because throughout the entire trial, she was a lying bitch.
All right, that's
The public did nothing. She did everything herself. The public just watched her.
Continue to widely describe Heard's claims as a hoax, and they've engaged in groundless analysis of body language.
It's not groundless.
Groundless.
You have experts who do this for a living. They're magicians or they're psychologists, and they've been doing this for decades. And you can see all these classic examples of people who lie and all the telltale signs.
Yeah.
And they explain it's not just one thing, it's a series of things. If you have someone for more than 10 minutes, they could probably figure it out.
Yeah.
But if you have someone for days, it's like, here's this pattern again, here's this pattern. I was watching there's this really cool guy on YouTube. Actually, there's a few guys on YouTube who do this for body language. They had a podcast together. And it was so cool because they were talking about all this.
Can you send me that one? The only one I watched back in the day was Body Language Ghost. She had a really pleasant voice while explaining everything.
Oh, okay. I know the guy was a magician. He was the one, but there was like 3 other dudes who were also body language experts, and they were all figuring out the same thing.
Yeah, and when you wanna learn to spot liars, for one, Amber Heard is like Chernobyl. On the other hand, she is so extreme and exaggerated that she's not a good test example to train spotting these things. But she's good at the things that she is doing, she's doing so extreme that it helps seeing them.
Yeah.
All right.
But bloody hell, it's really, it's like looking into the sun of lying.
So the take here is trying to criticize the armchair experts who are in fact experts by observing Amber Heard's behavior.
Yeah,
which is totally normal. So
and I would bet that if in any way there would be body language analysis that would make Trump look bad.
Sure.
They would totally agree with it.
Sure, but you think there's a conspiracy theory here. It's like, who has some bizarre conspiracy to purposely make Amber act like a lying bitch?
You know, the entire joke is that all the legacy media was pro Amber Heard.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea.
Like big time.
They were.
But the free media is seeing through it and saying, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
Smud, like the Independent in the UK was just and still is so pro Amber Heard, it's unbelievable. they have like a sports section, local news, and then just an Amber Heard section, pretty much.
Well,
right? And
what is the Independent from?
Reality.
I do know many websites had an entire live section category for Johnny Depp trial for months. You just click on that, you get the most latest updates, and it was every day. It was like even on Sundays, they had new information popping up and pictures on Instagram and people doing videos that they were publishing. It was so hot for like 3 months.
One thing that I know to say in regards to Amber Heard lying. And this is not a conspiracy theory, so YouTube, you can't ban me or anything like that. Is when she involved Kate Moss and everything. that was just like, chef's kiss of just like, Johnny Depp beat up Kate Moss, and it's like, we'll just ask Kate Moss then. And it was like, it's a conspiracy. They're just all in it together. It's like, why would Kate Moss just lie? What does she get out of this?
This gorgeous model who loved Johnny, and Johnny broke up with her. She's like, he helped me.
Kate Moss dated Pete Doherty. Do you know who that guy is?
No.
Right, there's a band called the Libertines. He was a massive drug head, an absolute arsehole. Right, so it's not why would she just, obviously she's been with people who with drugs and everything like that, so why would she lie about Johnny Depp and stuff? And it's like, there's no conspiracy. Kate Moss is a lovely, lovely lady. And why would she lie?
What stunned me about that is Amber Heard making up all this shit. And then let's ask Kate Moss about it. and the Kate Moss clip plays where she gives her testimony, and the camera is like from this lower angle where she looks like this imposing older Galadriel from Lord of the Rings, and just bringing in the divine, serene truth.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's like they're asking people, or it's like, oh, Johnny Depp paid for all these people. And do you remember that her I can't remember what Johnny Depp's lawyer was, and she gave out a list of all the witnesses, and saying, and so Amber Heard is trying to say that all these people were on Johnny's payroll, and it's like,
don't forget,
but they're not. And then it's like she tried to make out that that Umbrella guy was part of Johnny Depp's payroll, and all these YouTubers and everyone here is all on payroll.
No, the Umbrella Man, not the Umbrella guy. Man. Elaine said that Umbrella Man or something, or it's like, why can't you even read? That's why did I read that correctly? Is such an important question they constantly ask.
All right,
because they get everything wrong.
Let's keep going.
But there's one more thing that I now forgot.
Anyway,
damn it.
Go on.
Okay.
Oh, we're not doing that one more thing.
I don't know.
Oh. I forgot it.
Oh, wasn't
Mark is gone. I don't know what happened to Mark. He took off.
Oh, Mark had to go. He's shooting people in Red Dead.
Oh, okay. Anyway, here's one more donation. We'll keep going with the video. Grab her balls, Saul. Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Saul.
Yeah, I remember the thing. Yes. Well, I'm a very exhausted Wisp. Remember that these kinds of people, these manipulative people, narcissists, psychopaths, borderliners, they always project. So when Amber Heard accuses Johnny Depp of paying everyone in a conspiratorial fashion to lie for him, that may explain why she had such strange witnesses saying such strange things that also did not work in any way as professional integrity for their fields, like these psychologists that she had. Everything is projection. Narcissists aren't that creative, really. When they accuse you of something, it's usually that they did the very thing or an iteration of the thing themselves and try to deflect from that. Because when they accuse someone else of the thing that they did, everybody's looking at the person accused, and people are very unlikely to think that the accuser is actually the one having done it.
All right.
It's a super effective technique, and it's really hard to see through if you have absolutely no experience.
Here was the donation that I did not read yet from Grabber Balls Saul. Your Honor, by simply typing the letter in the chat, my client would have had no way of knowing what the other commenters would write. And after all of this, Heard hasn't been removed from Aquaman nor Miller from Flash. They could call it Flash a minor.
Oh dear.
Did you read his apology? I'm using air quotations, by the way. His apology that he did.
No.
We apologize for his behavior if he might have disturbed some people. It's like, right, okay. It's like
it's a standard non-apology.
Yeah, you could even see through his like smug little smile that he's like, he just does not give a shit. And it's like, and people go, oh well, this is accepted. He's got mental health issues. It's like,
yeah, that's why you shouldn't believe in the apology, you fucking idiots.
Yeah. It's like he does not care. If he cared, he would have done everything that he said he did.
People like him only care about actual physical consequences. That includes him being thrown off a movie project. Never getting a job in Hollywood again. That's relevant consequences for people like him.
All right. Let's continue. We're halfway done.
Evokes theories more than science to supposedly prove that she was lying. Even the jury seemed to perceive Heard's testimony as a performance because they were quote-unquote uncomfortable with her account.
crying, the facial expressions that she had, the staring at the jury, all of us were very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Part of our
because that's how
fascination
real
around
victims don't
real-life
act.
manipulative women is that they're ultimately opaque. People we want to know more about and understand
No!
what might drive these individuals to such extraordinary...
No, that's you fucking crime-obsessed psycho woman projecting your own fascination with psychopaths on the rest of the world.
I think
you
they're
fucking unempathetic narcissist.
I think they're inventing
Shut the fuck up.
some persona for what they think is right, and I don't know where it's coming from because she's like, oh, these people aren't scientists. It's like they do this for a living. Whether they need to conduct experiments is irrelevant. They're showing you the evidence. It's like, here, look at this scene. See, this is the scene that previous interview where she was or that deposition I think she was doing. She said something and then she covered her mouth in this sort of, oh, I just lied. I shouldn't have said that. And she sort of then she went into like brushing her face and her hair back while she was touching
The
her
way
mouth.
her handkerchief looked so fucking unnatural. Nobody blows his or her nose that way. It rather looked like she was sniffing something out of it.
It's like when you catch yourself in a lie, you cover your mouth. I don't know why, but she was doing that, and then she realized that, and then she just kept moving her hand back like she was brushing her face or her hair back through her face, which was weird.
I have no fucking clue. And even if she knows just this one thing that she then tries to cover, there's 5 others she does that she isn't even aware of.
Yeah, those videos were cool. Like they were fun to watch because they're half an hour, but you're like, what is really going on in this video? And these guys breaking it down. What is happening? And he does another one, and he does another one, and he just keeps going on for weeks.
Yeah, and he's and here with this the take woman, she is glorifying psychopathic women. It's I am at this point. I am convinced that this is a power fantasy for her. She wants to be like that. That's why she's fascinated.
She's
these types
pulling
of women.
stuff from movies now to try to justify her actions, which is weird. As if the actresses are like they were taught by expert other actors or like criminologists who see these things. But then that would be a science. And then there is a forensic science for observing people's behavior and facial tics and this and that. So it's like, okay, there is science. And if it's true, then it's true in the movies, which you're now arguing. But that also means it's true in reality. So which happened? Is it good in the movies or is it not good in reality with Amber Heard? I don't know.
Yeah, and I've said this before as well. You can also learn to spot very prominent types of borderline personality disorder by just the facial expression, the standard facial expression on the girl, and so that there are different combinations of the various symptoms of borderline personality disorder, but there are certain combinations where the girls just they look just deranged and crazy, and some people are into that crazy look, and then they wonder why their lives turn to shit. Take it as a red flag, not as something that you're attracted to. Let's go on.
Ordinary lengths. But in the end, these stories can't do more than guess at their true interior lives. The real Michelle Carter was still a minor when she sent those incriminating texts. And she had been struggling with serious mental health issues for years. And Gypsy Rose Blanchard suffered for her entire life at the hands of her mother's
So, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how the monster is made. You can have compassion for the innocent child that was abused. But once it has turned into the monster, do not have compassion for the monster or you will be prey for the monster.
I just like the fact that they use mental health issues as like, oh well, I'm not in control of my entire body and everything that I do. Is that right? Okay.
We should just that leads to we just need to forgive every bad deed that someone does because of mental health issues. How about no?
Yeah.
How about you hold account? You are judged by your actions, and depending on that, we determine whether you should still be part of free society or, for the sake and safety of free society, be locked up behind bars. You can still have a dignified life behind bars, as much as that is possible there, okay, but you will not be a threat for free society outside, because you have proven that you cannot be part of it. You don't respect the rules in the sense of you seem to like destroying other people's lives for your personal enjoyment, so fuck off with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Munchausen syndrome. The reality in some of these situations could be more complicated or muddier, but it's easier to slot these examples into the expected, hyper-real narrative of the manipulative woman, someone with vast, nearly supernatural powers of elaborate deception, one-dimensionally driven to do anything to take down a man.
And if I get everything right, the world will hate Nick for killing his beautiful, pregnant wife.
What about the Vic Mignogna story? Wasn't that just that?
No.
Just to take down a man?
That was part of it. I think they just didn't like how popular he was. They were jealous of him. And they concocted this whole scenario where, well, he was touching everyone and hugging them, and he touched me, and he tried to assault me, and this and that. And it's like, that didn't happen. So that is classic stuff of what occurs between men of all ages, really, and women who are trying to defend their honor. I don't know. It's kind of hard to gauge what they're trying to do with that scenario. But that one was personal, and it affected his life financially. So it was a whole bunch of things for him.
Well, I'm just really laughing about the fact that they're trying to put Amber Heard with these people, and it's like, well, she's not that manipulative because she was caught out really easily. Because she's terrible at this.
I love I love the
she is that vile, she is that cold, but she's not that competent.
I love how she submitted evidence that was identical, but it was for different points in her life. Like 1 year, and like 2 years later, it's the same image, and you're like, Amber, that happened more than once with the photos she submitted.
It's the fact that she sent a picture of herself supposedly bruised up, but then also forgot that as a celebrity, there's paparazzi who will take pictures of her everywhere where she wasn't bruised, and it's like, oh, did you not think that anyone would take any photos of you anywhere at all?
She tried to make out a bruise makeup kit as a cover-up for bruises, instead of paint bruises with makeup on you.
Yeah, but the thing is, Whisp, she said she used this kit to cover up the bruises. The company even came out and said that in that year we did not make that type of makeup. It was a year later. Yeah, even the company was like, no, we didn't make this. So she was lying about that.
One of the questions,
you lied about everything.
One of the questions is, why didn't she take any pictures of herself after she was abused? Because she took pictures of the mirror that Johnny Depp wrote stuff on, but
with her handwriting.
But she specifically did not take pictures of her reflection in the mirror.
Yeah,
the one there's a thing about it as well that nobody brought up, maybe because they didn't get the forensics involved in that part. We've seen pages from Amber Heard's notebook where she has a few different pseudo-artistic handwriting styles, and one of those was the exact type of script that was on the mirror. That was her writing on the mirror, not Johnny Depp's.
Yeah, and if you're going to take a photo in the evening in the mirror, you're going to turn a light on. You're not going to have this weird dark shot from the side. You're going to go, face the mirror. You're going to take a shot. That's
the
what
stuff written on the. There was something written on the table as well. I think that was also her script.
There's broken bottles on the ground of wine. It's like, what are you proving here?
It was just so honestly.
You have this super distinct handwriting style that you have developed for yourself, and then you try to claim that that's written by him, not me. This is your handwriting.
Why are all these women in this thing, apart from that one with the illness, why are they all blonde?
They're usually blonde colored. The blonde dyed. I don't know why.
I know it's blonde coloured, but it's like they've all got the same coloured hair. Really weird.
Okay.
There's no.
Yeah. We did. There was a study done in Germany about are blondes actually dumb? And it turned out that the natural blondes are actually more intelligent, but the blonde-dyed blondes, they're significantly below average intelligence. That's an interesting one.
Retards. Anyway.
I don't know, maybe the hair dye also attacks your
Let's
brain and dissolves it
continue.
or something.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Should we?
The opposite of the lying mastermind woman is the perfect victim, another figment of the collective imagination that people very much want to believe in. In cases where someone comes forward with allegations of harm, we often demand that the victim not only has an airtight case, but also that they have seemingly never done anything wrong.
It sends the message that unless you're the perfect victim, a
Who's this?
victim that is
I don't know.
palatable to society and fits within whatever that stereotype is, it's probably best that you not speak.
Of course, there's a long history of men arguing that women who are dressed a certain way or who simply agree to be around men are somehow asking for abuse.
Nothing happened to her
Bullshit.
that she didn't invite in one way or another. No matter what she said.
Scream 3
Let's we bring up Scream 3, really.
with Lance Hendricks.
It's great.
That's like saying women who dress like provocatively and a skimpy thing, and then you show a clip from like Nymphoid Barbarian in Dinosaur Hell. It's like I'm not going to take that seriously as evidence here. Okay, I'm just gonna.
It's also she's also trying to skew over the fact that there are women who do that all deliberately because they're trying to fish for options in men to get.
Also, sorry to interrupt, Whisp. Also, Amber Heard was done for abusing her ex-girlfriend beforehand.
But I think that they didn't bring that up in the court.
No, they didn't bring
The
that
door
up.
didn't
But
open.
she was also done for obviously that stuff in Australia. Because Johnny Depp wasn't done for it, but she was done.
Oh, the one where she illegally brought her dog.
Yeah, and they had to make some stupid video for the government to talk about animal abuse or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was weird.
No, it's not the fact that you have to be the perfect victim. It's just with Amber, things didn't add. The problem is Amber wanted to portray herself as the perfect victim, but she wasn't. And that's the problem. And also, no one thinks of the fucking perfect victim. What do you mean the perfect victim? Or no one's perfect. It's just the fact that when we get told, my partner beat me up, what we need is evidence and, at least a motive or something, you know what I mean? Something like that.
Well, yeah,
when we get...
I think this whole thing is this whole claim of this perfect victim thing is a straw man.
Well, yeah, but if we're talking about the opposite of a mastermind, I don't see how a theoretical perfect victim is contrary or the mirror of that. It's not even thematically makes any sense to me.
If you are up against an actual mastermind, you're probably not ever gonna see a day in court.
Oh.
If someone is conducting some sort of nefarious plot that is so amazing, then the victim would have no idea what's going on. They wouldn't even know it's a crime. They say, I just lost my purse. Where'd it go?
They won't even know who's pulling the strings, which is often the case when these stories happen in real life.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back to like Macbeth or other scenarios where they're trying to connect these two, and I'm like, who's the victim in Lady Macbeth's machinations aside from the dead king? I mean, it's
the victims. There's quite a lot of victims.
Yeah, but the perfect victim, like, what is that? Like
the only almost like perfect person is Macbeth's friend, and even he ends up getting his head chopped off.
I mean, she's like Aerith in Final Fantasy VII. The super innocent, caring, helping every one person that everybody loves. That would be the perfect victim, but that's something for stories.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a perfect victim. You just either a victim or you're not a victim.
Yeah,
and it's a bit like
in another context. In another context, the perfect victim is the perfect prey. the very thing that a predator goes for. That
Mhm.
would make more sense.
All right. Anyway, a little bit of semantics there. I was a little confused. Anyway, let's keep going.
Up victim blaming, women's allegations are called into question if they're suspected of ever having done something questionable or less than ideal in their entire lives.
No, that's
In fact,
because of you.
While the past few years of Me Too accusations have made allegations of abuse more visible,
They've been full of false allegations against men, you fucktards. Me Too is the very thing that made women believed less.
Yep.
Good on
Because
you
people-
putting a shotgun to your face.
Nowadays, it's men too, which I thought was kind of ironic, but
Oh, it was cathartic.
also
Think
brought
it's
with
silly
them a
if you
much
want,
higher
but it was
degree of
cathartic.
scrutiny on women coming forward. Women like Gabby Petito, who was originally labeled as the aggressor in her relationship.
Police seem to side with Brian.
He does have marks on him that witnesses say.
That is a very weird facial expression.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
Holy shit. This looks like
That is
someone who's trying to keep the smile down while scheming. What the fuck?
Yeah, that is not the face of someone who's been abused.
I know nothing about this case, but if you show me this woman and tell me she's the victim, I'm going to tell you, fuck no. Fuck no. She's the manipulator.
They were
Yeah.
caused by you slapping him. And that even you say you slapped him and were aggressing him first.
Before it became clear that her boyfriend Brian Laundrie was, in fact, the aggressor and her murderer.
This was one human being behaving in a way that was insidious, controlling, and manipulative, not just to his partner, but to the police officers.
Even in cases where women do.
Okay. Even if there are times when two psychopaths get together into a relationship as only
Right, hold on.
winners.
What was her name again? That woman just there.
Let's rewind.
Hold on, I'm looking this up now because I have to look
Brian and Petito.
Women like
Brian.
It's Gabby Petito.
How is spelling the surname? How is spelling that surname? I'm on my Google now.
Death of Gabby Petito. Yeah.
Hang on. P-E-T. Brian Petito. Let's have a look.
How TikTok helped crack the murder. Oh, that's cool.
Look here. Brian, how Petito disappeared in late August. As a Petito went missing. Covered, it was announced at Laundry. Oh, he admitted to killing her in a notebook. And that's the FBI that's saying that. Okay.
How much did he snap? See, this is what Me Too did. We're more likely to side with the guy because of Me Too.
The two ran up and down so the man hit a woman again. I know it was Fred. So other witnesses' reports are so different, and wow, this is just like really. This just feels like two horrible people together. Okay.
All right.
So two weirdos together.
The reason why I look it up is because what I've learned in these videos is a lot of stuff gets left out, and it's only what the video creator says. So unless I, whenever they bring something up like that, I have to have a look because otherwise, I mean, how many times we've been lied to, and it's like, oh, actually, no, she really was like a fucking psycho or something like that. But from what that sounds like, they documented everything, and the only reason he got caught out was he died from a self-inflicted shotgun wound to the head, and the FBI found a notebook saying that he'd done everything. And I just read that, and I'm like, wow, what luck, that they couldn't find anything until he died and said everything. The FBI, who would never lie about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, carry on.
Right, leaving their abusive partner, going public, trying to rebuild their lives, they still aren't guaranteed safety and can actually find themselves punished. The Netflix series Unbelievable dramatizes a real instance of Marie, a young victim who was discredited by skeptical and uninterested police.
It's a dream. It's a blackout. You've told us 4 different versions.
It's not hard to see why people don't come forward, expecting they'll be disbelieved or blamed.
I was still in like physical pain from this and sitting there going, oh, well, no one's gonna believe me.
And all that was before the Depp-Heard trial set the precedent that they might be sued by their attacker with a reasonable chance of being found guilty.
I do think women will look at Amber Heard and say, I'm not equipped to go through something like that.
Throughout the Depp-Heard trial, lawyers argued.
Oh, no. You know what we had on Twitter? A storm of women who were actual victims, who were furious at Amber Heard's lies because she is discrediting real victims. She is playing a victim. And that is what discredits them. Women, real victims, are outraged because of Amber Heard. Just like all these political movements that pretend to speak for certain groups, the actual people that they pretend to speak for are outraged by the bullshit they spout. Same thing.
Also, I want to say about that Netflix series. If someone came up to me and told me 4 different versions of the same story, I wouldn't believe they're telling the truth either.
Yeah.
I think they were lying, because you don't tell 4 different versions of the same story, no matter how. No one does that. That's not real.
Yeah, if there's been actual abuse, there's only one story you need to tell.
So if you're changing,
you don't need to. The great thing about the truth is that you don't have to remember all your lies and that you don't stumble over them. You just need to tell the things as they were. It's a very lazy thing to tell the truth. It's I don't know why more people aren't doing it.
Yeah.
Like that people are lazy in all ways, but when it comes to the truth, they just start working their brains to come up with bullshit just not to tell the truth.
Yeah. So obviously this Netflix series going, oh well, you told me 4 different things, and like, oh, you should just believe it because you're the woman. It's like, no, that's not how things work. I'm sorry, but I just don't believe the ramblings of a young girl.
Yeah, I mean, it is true that actual gaslighting stories are unbelievable. They are so over the top, which is why the victims of gaslighting do end up suicidal. Because what is happening is just unbelievable, so unbelievable, that if they tell other people about it, they're not believed because it's just too outrageous.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you stick to the truth, I'm not going to say your story because you can lie about your story, but if you just say what you think is happening, like, and that's it, and there's no changes to it, people are going to believe you more than if you keep saying different things.
That is
because
true.
That's the end of story. If someone told me a story 4 different times, I'd be like, come on, mate, you're not even remembering what you lied about or what you said.
Yeah,
if the problem is less that police is not believing you. It's more that these kind of stories, these gaslighting, psycho abuse stories, are so fucking complicated that nobody wants to touch them because everybody has limited time. They're usually overworked, and then this shit comes on your table. You need a special division to deal with this, honestly.
Well, if you're in an interrogation room from the police, that means they've asked you to come down to talk, and there's something serious going down, or they can't get their story right, and they want clarity. It's like, listen, you've changed your story again. Is this before or after she was in the hospital and going through all this medication? What's going on here? Usually it's after the fact. They want people to be clear within 48 hours, so they're conscious, they're not on any drugs. So there could be lots of incorrect testimony being given, and I don't know the story. I have no idea what that story is about. So lots of errors can be made on both parties. I don't know the case.
Yeah, But it's just the way she said, "Oh yeah," like made that scene of like him saying, "You've told me 4 different stories now of the same event." It's like, well, yeah, no one's going to believe that. Like, it's common sense, you know. You know what I mean?
Right. So what would happen is if it comes to trial, whatever the case is, I don't even know what they'd be charged with, but the police would testify. You get a deposition from the whoever was there. And she would say, this is what happened. And so there might be a conflict between those two. And before that would even be presented, they'd say, okay, this evidence doesn't coincide. And the judge would figure out what's going on, as opposed to like, hey, let's now talk about it if everyone's okay with the evidence, because that would never happen, because you would not have contradictory evidence and say, yeah, we're okay with this, let's go to trial. It's like, no, let's just talk about this first. And then if you guys still want to go to trial after we have all this data, all right, let's hash it out, because you guys can't come to figure this out together right now. So we'll have to have it figured out with everyone else.
But could you imagine being a police officer, right? Say with this girl, and just say she told you her story and you wrote it down in the witness statement.
Yeah.
Then comes court and she's on the stand and she tells you a completely different story that contradicts what she said in the witness statement. What do? You can't win then, because it makes out that you're a liar.
Yeah, you'd file the police report 4 times because it's changed every time, and it'd be like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So, yeah, unless there's a criminal action being thrown at someone, you'd have to be very careful. But, yeah, you would have to then determine that her testimony is somehow false or not consistent, that if she wants to present that, like, she'd have to be very careful with how that works. So,
it's right. I'm going to be honest. I don't think a lot of people realize how you can't just go to the police and make willy-nilly accusations.
Oh yeah, I know. But even if she didn't have 4 statements that were all different, she could have made one statement which was, poor memory, poor judgment. She was hallucinating. Yeah. There's all kinds of things that could have happened between then and the event and the trial, or if there was a trial. So it happens a lot. But the fact that she admits she was medicated or in hospital.
Well, I was having blackouts and stuff. It's like, you're not making of all the things to show.
Yeah, I know.
It's not a great thing to show, because I mean, let's put it this way. When I pressed charges against my ex-partner for fraud, because she set up a fake funeral for my son. So she tried to get money off of people by saying our son was dead. And until I got evidence of the actual fraud, I didn't go to the police, because I knew I needed evidence. But they took my statement, and then they asked for another statement to make sure that I'd got, said everything and what I'd said was true. So I understand there might be some different statements and stuff, but you don't get 4 separate different statements with stuff. You've got to be 100% what it is. So that scene, what you just shown, no wonder the police aren't going to help this girl if she's just. It's not the police don't care. I don't know the story like you said, but from what I've just seen there, it's more the fact that the police are like, you're probably just wasting time.
Right.
So they don't deal with it.
It's not about wasting time. It's about if it's an actual gaslighting story where the victim is telling the truth and not making up several contradicting stories. These cases are really big. There's so much to tell. There is if there is evidence, it's and that the victim started recording stuff. It's usually like an entire box of correspondences. It's hours upon hours of recordings of conversations. It's so much, and it's so complicated. Usually, there's several things going on at the same time. A dozen people involved that are all being used as pawns.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable.
I get that, but my point was just the fact that at the start, if you start making these accusations and it changes over time, the police aren't interested. Because they haven't you haven't given them a basis for them to start their case. If you don't give them a base, they can't proceed.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. And I don't think a lot of these progressive women and these Me Too things realise that the a lot of the cases, the reason why they don't go is not because police don't care or that the police, are stretched for time or anything like that. It's the fact that they don't give themselves a base to move forward. You just give them nothing to work with. If you give the police nothing to work with, they're not going to do anything. I mean, they don't do anything most of the time when you give them something to work with, but that's my own biases against the police. But that's, yeah. It was a weird thing to use in the video. Let's move on, because I think I've gone over the point numerous times.
All right. 3 minutes left. I don't know what the hell they're going to say within 3 minutes, but let's find out.
That the abuse was mutual, a concept that experts on domestic violence reject.
By calling it that, you're blaming
the
primary victim and not holding the abuser accountable.
While Heard was found guilty on all 3 accounts of defamation, and it was clear that she had behaved badly in their relationship, this doesn't disprove the possibility that Depp had been abusive.
There are other...
The possibility...
We're
going into conjunctive levels.
She provided no evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So she proved that him being drunk is not him being abusive. Him getting angry because his mum died is not him getting abusive.
Yeah.
Him getting his finger cut off is not him being abusive.
Yeah. What she's doing here is she claims that, but Depp could be abusive because they haven't proven the negative.
Yeah.
You fucking psycho bitch. Go away.
And there's a possibility there's abuse because I believe there may be abuse, even if there's no evidence whatsoever. Because let's put it this way: if Amber Heard actually had evidence of Johnny Depp being abusive, she would have brought it out and she would have used it. There's no.
It would have been her prime piece.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that she didn't, and the worst she got of him was slamming cupboards because his mum died.
Oh, that was the reason?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a completely normal reaction. Like, fucking hell.
So
you can't be upset about that. That's a normal thing to be.
Amber Heard
People react differently to that, but like anger is a completely normal thing. Bloody hell.
But Johnny Depp can't do that because he's abusing me, and you're like, okay, prove evidence. She didn't do it. She wouldn't even prove.
Just drink another mega pint of wine for $10,000.
A mega pint. But,
best words that came out of this trial.
It's the fact that this trial really did show that there's a hell of a lot of women in this world that just hate men so viciously and violently. They just hate men, and they were willing to side with somebody who was lying, an absolute fucking cunt of a person, and they're literally willing to stand with this person just because they don't like men. Think about that. But it's almost like it's literally like Germans with Hitler because they don't like Jews. It is literally that. But in the 21st century.
I sincerely hope that these women do not have children.
Oh, of course they're going to have children.
Because they're growing up. They're growing up in an abusive environment, psychologically abusive environment. That is hell for children.
Yep.
All right.
There are things that are present in or were present in their relationship. I don't think that negates the fact that Miss Heard was a victim of domestic violence.
The idea that women need to avoid any possible shred of misconduct before coming forward is ultimately a specific version of the way we expect people from marginalized groups to be perfect in order to be taken seriously. Sometimes that applies to victims of police brutality like Michael Brown, who the New York Times described as no angel after he was murdered by police officer Darren.
It was What? He wasn't murdered. It was a I don't know if you guys remember this. This is Ferguson, like.
I remember this one.
You do? 8 years ago or so. This was a crazy story where the guy was trying to grab the police officer's gun in the SUV. He got shot. He starts running away. Police chase after him, and he got shot in the hand, I think. And then after that, he unloaded like 6 rounds into him. And while they were still fighting, he was still grabbing for the gun. It was all this crazy fight that happened within a span of like 2 minutes. This was the most obvious case of self-defense. And I think there was some.
The socialists keep bringing it up as, the poor victim because he was black. Like,
Yeah, and they were brought. Okay, originally in that the morning of that day, this is like during lunchtime, so right before lunch, they stole a box of cigars, but that's not why they were pulled over. They were walking in the middle of the road, so the police officer says, "What are you doing?" And then the guy, I don't know, someone got into a scuffle and went through the window of the cop's car, fighting him, trying to grab his gun. If you are doing that, you are going to get shot. And,
it's called suicide by cop.
And the friend who was with him saying, well, he put his hands up in defense, and that's when he shot. It's like, no, he put his hands up. He was grabbing the gun. That's why he got shot in the hand.
He put his hands defensively towards the gun.
I don't know. It was just bizarre. And the guy, like his friend, was like trying to like change his story and this and bullshit. Like, okay, come on. There's plenty.
Oh, hang on. Look at that. The guy trying to change his story, and it's like, don't change your story. You know, if you got the truth, your story doesn't change. But if you got to lie, your story changes. So, and why have we gone to the race card? Why have we got? Why is it? Why are all these fucking psychopathic women so desperate for Amber Heard not to be?
So that they can tell themselves that their dark fantasies are okay to have.
Well, if you're comparing it to this case, that's a very strange. Like, why are we going from supposed domestic abuse victim to guy who attacked the police officer and got shot? It's a bizarre comparison. I don't know why she brought.
It's like guy who attacked a police officer got shot is comparable to a woman who took a shit on a bed.
It's
like
okay. Maybe they get the ideas from movies where they are the heroes and it works. These really stupid moves work.
Amber Heard watched Gone Girl and went, "That's who I want to be."
You know,
I would believe it.
Most criminals who have a tragic life that gets ended by either police or other criminals, they usually have a rap sheet.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's reality.
Here's the thing. Is it like that? Michael Brown, 18, due to be buried on Monday, was no angel. With public records and interviews with friends and family revealing both problems and promise in his young life. He's 18. You shouldn't have that many problems.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have many. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's just move on past this.
Yeah.
Race. Come on, Donald Trump.
Brown has to be a thug or a complete perfect victim. The media is deeply invested in these fictions because they obscure the structural forces that are at play.
The structural forces of what?
Come on, Donald Trump. I know you're around this corner somewhere.
This is going into
all this shit about it's not the individual's fault. It's society.
Yeah.
You know, and you know where that was also the argument in the fucking Soviet Union.
Well, this is around
because all the real criminals were excused by it's just circumstantial problems that we should forgive them.
But this is around 2015, so this is the starting of the whole all cops are bad sort of stuff.
Why is this woman wearing a potato sack?
I don't know.
She's a defense lawyer. I don't know who is this person anyway.
The thing is, I'm just gonna be pretty honest here.
He is human.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really honest here. Who would have believed that, like, a subculture of the black community that enjoy, gang music, rap, shootings, and all this sort of stuff would end up being incredibly violent, and people would do stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's what happens. So we know they're not all perfect, but the thing is, they're committing, like you said, they're committing crimes. You get into a scuffle with a fucking police officer. You know what I mean? You don't just do that as a normal person. Like, I've never got into a fight with a police officer. Have you, Smud?
A fight? No.
Yeah, exactly. Whisp, have you ever had a fight with a police officer?
Only arguments.
Okay, so no then. It's like, okay, so that's 3 people here who've never had a fight with a police officer. right? And I've had my fair share of run-ins with the police. It's like you don't scuffle with them. But in America, when they've got guns, you don't scuffle with them even there. Well, you know what I mean?
Well, can you imagine jumping or reaching through the SUV of a police car to fight a policeman and grab his gun? Like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, and fucking hell, in Berlin they now walk around for like 20 years with MP5s.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like on the train station and stuff. And like, okay.
Jeez.
That is totally still our nice little country where the policeman is your friend and helper with an MP5.
I've got an answer to why she's wearing a potato sack. Cryohazard69 in the chat goes, "Is this that new Hulk show?" It's like, yeah, this is She-Hulk, not the CGI.
Maybe. I don't know. It's bad CGI. It's uncanny valley. I mean, look. She looks deformed, like half her face is melting. But like, it's like she's dressed like an alien who's heard of human clothing and tries to imitate it without having looked up the actual specifications.
I'm assuming this is not the trial. I'm assuming this is some speech she's giving in some sort of like
Brown University, April 2015. Trisha Rose.
Yeah, the structural forces of the police force and black people and profiling and all this other stuff.
The structural force of the gun propelling the bullet.
As the
you know what's funny is the words behind her just say what. That's all I'm thinking of when she's talking. I'm like, what?
Okay. Anyway, got 2 minutes left. We're almost done.
And it's even worse for people who are the least likely to be believed.
Yeah, when they lie and they're the aggressor and they attack people. My friend wasn't reaching for the gun. He put his hand up. It's like, no, he wasn't.
Oh my god, yeah, I love that. Wow, no one believed me. All I do is just lie. Well, just... Oh. Fucking hell. This video...
One thing I liked about that case, if you read up on it, the cop who fired the gun, he almost immediately put it into an evidence bag, which is fascinating. So it's like, okay, I just killed someone. I gotta like, boop, drop it into a bag, and that's perfect because then forensics is like, we could use that. The thing is, they didn't know what to do with the bag, whether they wanted to conduct one test or another, because one test was forensics, like fingerprints, to figure out whether or not the guy was grabbing the gun, or DNA. So you could do a test for DNA if the blood got on the gun or stuff like that. But they could have done that also on the victim's hand, and they did, where they showed that there was residue of smoke and powder on his hand because it was such a close shot between his thumb and his index finger.
Yeah.
So, like, geez, smart cop to do that. Very, very different because you don't expect that on a crime scene.
Yep.
Anyway.
Very few victims are perfect because almost no people are.
Okay.
Yet we still collectively cling to this imaginary black and white binary
No, only
between
you
the
do.
faultless perfect victim and the supernaturally evil manipulative woman. Ironically, as invested as we
Okay, you know what? Amber Heard is not a supernatural evil woman. She's just an idiot.
She's an evil idiot. She's an evil idiot.
Evil idiot.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But she's not
the idea of the
supernatural.
manipulative woman, we frequently miss one of the lessons from this kind of female character, that she's responding to men.
Oh.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Women are manipulative bitches. Men's problem.
So Johnny Depp gets drunk and high in his evening time, and she's so lonely. She
cuts his finger off and shits in his bed.
She gets angry, does all this horrific stuff to her, cheats on him, etc., etc. When all she had to do was say, "Johnny, I'm not happy with my marriage, yada yada, want a divorce, or we can work on these things." And they went to counseling, as far as I recall. And
yeah, they did. Even Johnny Depp tried to walk away numerous times. She kept bombarding him with texts.
Yeah,
I cannot.
That's the in narcissistic abuse that is called hoovering after the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, it's like
by just trying to suck the victim back into the relationship to get more resources out of the victim, which is what Amber Heard wanted. She wanted the big win from Johnny Depp, either by a big divorce trial or by him dying. And this brings us back to these poor women that just had to poison their husbands. They are the real victims. They shouldn't be in prison. Great.
All right.
That's people who work in court here, by the way.
Men's fault. I knew it.
It's men have caused women to be hysterical psychopaths. That's
meaning women have no agency. They just can't help themselves. They just need to be violent, evil, manipulative things in order to just survive.
Yeah, it's all about
in this
women.
horrible world of men.
Or sorry, it's all about men, and men have caused women to be evil.
Why is this not working in Saudi Arabia?
Oh.
Can I just bring up one thing? So it's men's fault. So can you explain why the 30-year-old virgin woman at my fiance's workplace is an evil manipulative bitch? Oh, it's because men won't sleep with her. Damn it! I can't even use that one. Blaming men. Oh no, I can believe she's blaming men. It's just I can't believe she's waited this long to blame men. 11 minutes 31 seconds. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not that she's a crazy person. It's just that it's the man's fault. Caused her to be crazy.
Yeah, I've told this before. I didn't think it would get this extreme and obvious, but the women from the take are evil.
Yeah.
They are evil, manipulative women who are fascinated with these murderous psychopaths, these gaslighters, because they want to be them.
I think it's because
they want to have that control and power over other people's
I think it's because
lives.
their conclusions are so dumb and they say stupid things that they come across as lunatics that assume the world is crazy.
And their analysis is the product of their own projection.
It's part of it. There's certainly a lot of other things going on outside of their ideology that they're pushing, but it's like this is a dumb response. That's a dumb thing to conclude with, to say that Amber Heard.
It's not even. I'd say it's not even ideological.
Yeah, I know. It's
just the plain narcissism of women, where they are always the victims and others, that means men, are always the perpetrators.
Well,
so that they are never responsible for their own bad deeds. It's their own bad deeds are the fault of the men.
It's a lack of understanding of psychology. It's stupid enough to impose your own. That this is how women are because of men. It's like, wait, how does that connect? Maybe that's the case, but how do you connect the dots? Because Johnny Depp is what? He's an abuser? Okay, where was he the abuser that caused her to be like this? That should be easy to show.
It's also an admission that women cease to exist when men go away.
Well,
here's the thing that I always ask with Amber Heard. Johnny Depp caused her to be like that. Okay, so how did that explain her beating her female lover before she met Johnny Depp? Go. And it's like, oh, well. And it's like, oh, you've got no answer because it's not actually men, is it? Because that's the way she's always been.
The idea is that someone taught her or someone caused her to behave in a more reactive way, which was hysterics, violence, manipulation, whatever the behavior she's exhibiting. That we should be able to connect. We should be able to tie the dots. Say, okay, from here to there, this caused that because of years of behavior that she picked up on it, and this is how the human person would the normal human person would react. Like that should be easy to connect the dots with. And if it's not normal, then it's like, okay, so let's still assume that Johnny was doing something, and this is an extraordinary reaction. So we could still say there's a cause, but the effects are way overblown. So she's doing all this crazy stuff because the average person, let's say a really demure woman was dating Johnny, and Johnny just is being his drunken, high, crazy, fun-going self. They wouldn't be like, "Oh, Johnny, you're so silly. Oh, you're crazy. I'll just clean up after you." Like there'll come a breaking point eventually where it's like, "Okay, I love you and all, but you're not living a healthy life. I want to help you." Because that's what a partner would do. The partner would say, "Hey, honey, something's wrong. You got to slow down. I want to live with you. I want to have a happy life. You're driving yourself crazy, and you're driving me nuts. So we got to figure this out." That's what someone who is aware of what's going on, not a demure woman who's just sitting in the corner all the time. So someone with half a brain, at least, we go, yeah, something's up. This isn't good. But that didn't happen, or at least it did happen in a context of a marriage where they went to go see therapy, not necessarily did Johnny go to an AA meeting or a drug meeting. I think he's still doing drugs. He's still drinking it, and having a good time. So
he's friends with Marilyn Manson. Of course, he's fucking doing drugs.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but there's no stories of abuse. There's no evidence of abuse. There's nothing of him hurting anyone.
Manson's getting done for abuse, isn't he?
Yeah, that's another story. That's a whole other ballgame. Yeah.
But you know when you actually look at it and you see other stuff, it's like, he's in the exact same boat as Depp. And there's another. What's the woman's name? Who was doing with Manson, because she also trying to get back. You remember Jamie Bell, the actor who played who's been in a lot of things actually. Like Billy Elliot is his famous one, but he's also in like Peter Jackson's King Kong and stuff.
Oh.
Well, he has a kid with this woman who was dating Manson, and even he's come out and said, "I'd allow my kid around Marilyn Manson before I allowed my kid around his own mother."
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, wow, you've got that, you've got this person coming out saying that, and she's going, no, but Manson's really bad. So it's like, but is he though? So, yeah. I only know all this because my fiance is a massive fan of Manson. So, we've got all the she's got his own biography, and it talks about it, and it's all the stuff he did was sick, but the women involved all consented. So, it's weird. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to what.
Almost done. Let's go.
Sorry.
The reason Amy is so good at manipulating people and plotting schemes is because she spent years forcing herself to play act as a fictional cool girl to keep her husband interested.
I drank canned beer watching Adam Sandler movies. I ate cold pizza and remained a size 2.
But catering to a man's world has made her the perfect chameleon. So why are we so fixated on the trope of the lying, manipulative woman? In part, it's because having to fully confront the culture that created the trope is too difficult and challenging. It's easier to become fascinated by individual women who somehow rise out of the system and enact their own will like some kind of magnetic quasi-supervillain. And it seems likely that we'll continue to have to grapple with this hypothetical woman, especially as other celebrities respond to the Depp-Heard version.
Yeah.
What a weird take. That's like saying, we love wizards. We don't know why. We're so complex. We can't figure out why we like wizards. It's like, well, there's lots of reasons we like magic. And a wizard is a personification of that. So that's like, go back to Lord of the Rings. Go back to The Tempest. You just, go back to any folklore where there's magic. It's magical. It's unknown. It's cool. Say that about any pattern of personality in stories, and that's why you like it. It's not because the people this era are complex and it's too difficult. It's like, no, it's easy, discernible reasons why we like characters in stories, why we like Superman, why someone would like Superman over Batman or vice versa. It's not hard to figure out. This is not...
I'm just amazed that they brought up this story that I just mentioned.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's just a bit like, the reason why we're saying that is because we know it's going to turn into that. That's why we're trying to keep it quiet.
Maybe, yeah.
Come on,
Doesn't even the FBI sounds like a federal crime.
That's
big.
There's a lot of stuff where it's just, this woman, this Evan Rachel Wood, is nuts. She's she really is one of those nutters. If you look at her Wikipedia page, it's like, I hope someone's edited this wrong, because otherwise, bloody hell, she's just crazy.
When you're famous, you attract these malicious crazies like moths to the flame.
And like I said, the other actor who she married and obviously divorced and had a kid, the guy is literally like the exact opposite of Manson. Like, you couldn't think of two guys more opposite. So the fact that he's with Manson says a lot. Yeah, this... The thing is, you can sue your accuser, and it's up to you. Then your accuser has to prove stuff, because that's the whole point. You know what I mean? And the thing is, if you're worried that you're not going to be able to prove it, then it's probably not true. So, oh well.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're nearly finished with this now, so
let's go.
By suing their own accusers. But when it comes to real-world abuse, it's important not to let over-the-top entertainment dictate our appraisal of reality. Leave the fictions to the storytellers and listen to the facts.
Fucking bint.
Oh,
the fact is Amber Heard lied, and these are not bruises from the kind of abuse that she is making out. That she's claiming. You'd look very different if the things happened to her that she claims.
How could you say, just listen to the facts? There was a fucking trial where they brought out their facts and evidence, and Amber Heard failed so spectacularly that everything collapsed around her. How?
Remember the facts where Johnny Depp got his finger chopped off? And he got bruises on his nose and his face and his eyes?
Yeah.
Those are facts.
Yeah, but this is such a disconnect from reality here. Like, beyond... How...
Gaslighters.
How can you say, just look at the facts?
Gaslighters.
And don't let entertainment fool you. Okay, so I watched the trial. Amber Heard's a lying bitch. Oh yeah, but it's just the entertainment. No, that's just from the trial.
Yeah, when we talk about the facts, there's like depositions are facts. They're anecdotal evidence. That's evidence that everyone agrees upon. They're tabulated. Everyone says, okay, this is the facts. She lied. It's obvious she lied. She lied multiple times. Her evidence was duplicated, which is embarrassing that no one caught it. And these things are like this, as she talked about. She even made up a stupid slip of the tongue when she mentioned the bruise kit. It was like, oh, really? You covered your face with makeup when you were bruised on your back.
Yeah.
In that dress, the same day she got the dress with her back showing. She covered up her back with makeup. Like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I've never heard of someone using facial makeup on their back when it's a hot, sweaty premiere or what was it? So the Emmys?
Yeah. Didn't she also had a broken nose that day? But she used makeup to cover the broken nose.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, really? And obviously Becca was sitting next to me, and she went, "That's not how makeup works." Because Becca, my fiance, she was beaten up by one of her boyfriends really badly, and obviously she was listening through this entire trial, and she was like, "No, if you get punched in the face by one of these people, you don't go to a premiere and everything. When you get a broken nose, you get a broken nose. It's not something you can just like patch up, especially with a woman for a man."
You need the clay face paste.
Even then, like I've gotten hit in the eye a few times. You are not incapacitated, but you don't want to do anything for the next week.
Oh, I remember once I got punched on a night out in the jaw, and the next day, honestly, it just felt like my jaw. I just couldn't move anything. I was like, "No, I'm not doing anything. This just hurts." So you're not.
I once just I collapsed after a panic attack, and hit the ground, and the right side of my head was a complete bruise, the entire right side of my head, and I had a blood blister. I didn't even know what the blood blister was before then, and it just looked like someone punched me in the eye, but it hadn't hit my eye. It's just that all the blood was pushed with such pressure into the blood vessels that they all popped, and so it looked like I got hit there where I wasn't, and it took weeks for that to go away. It was
a good point here. About Johnny Depp wearing a lot of rings with punches. If you've ever seen someone who wears rings punch somebody and you see the aftermath, not a bruise,
ripped apart.
Yeah, you've got cuts on there. You've got gashes. You haven't got nice.
It's less cut. It's more like ripped apart.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, well, that's what I think.
Yeah, and that's why I brought this thing that happened to me up, because that's just hitting my head by falling down, and that looked worse than anything Amber Heard had from having been with full deadly force punched in the face repeatedly with rings. Like, fuck off.
That is not a face that has been punched repeatedly. That is someone who's just put brown makeup on their face. There, that's not a bruise.
Like, look, it's a triangle.
Yeah, like a black eye doesn't form like a black eye comes right under your eye, like on your eyelids. Punches there, a bloke punches someone there, you can crack your cheekbone. That's like going to be a bigger bruise and all this sort of stuff. That's a line. That's not a fist mark. I've been in a lot of fights. You know what you get when you've been in a lot of fights, and this does not look like a person who's been hit. It just looks like a girl who's practicing makeup.
Walked into a door.
Those Facebook tutorials you see.
All right. Well, we're almost done, so it's probably just credits after this.
Oh, I fucking hope so.
Some argue that this verdict could have broader implications for the Me Too movement and discourage women from coming forward.
If you're new here,
Liars
be sure to
from
subscribe
liars
and click
coming
the bell to be
forward.
notified about all of our new videos.
Oh, they're there.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust any of these women.
Executive producer. Yeah, okay. Writer Eric Thurm.
The executive producer, isn't there like a Futurama joke about how
they needed a man to write this?
Well, of course they need a man to write it. They're women.
We just produce it. We don't write. We don't make it. Okay.
They couldn't even come up with their own lying shit. They needed a man to write this feminist drivel.
Honestly,
that was
the
fun.
man had to write the man-hating drivel.
Okay. Well, let's see if we got any.
Sorry for that man.
See if we got any really cool memes to play with here.
Memes.
He's just pouring water on his face. Okay. Leaked picture of Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp's bed. Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I hope there's no porn of that. The evolution of trash. Oh, nice. I like it.
Yeah, that's good.
Very cool. 14.
Nice.
It's a crazy doctor. I won't play him, but everyone has got to listen to his whole on the stand. That was amazing. Like it was just, I was speechless half the time. I was like, what?
Yeah, this is why I feel less bad about a little bit of armchair psychology after having read a lot of books, because people like that sit out there.
All right,
with actual titles, giving therapy to people. Oh God!
Oh my goodness! Newly single, comes with some debt, and not quite housebroken. Oh. Thief, boom boom boom, murderer, boom boom boom, Amber Heard supporter. Everyone just. Oh. Exclusive shot from Amber Heard's 30th birth. Oh, okay, yeah.
No.
Johnny Depp waking up Amber Heard. Amber's turn.
It rhymes.
Morgan Leander Blake, watching YouTube channels make it part of their entertainment breakdowns was horrific. What?
I think it's of the trial.
Oh, on this video. Carolyn Bryant didn't need to physically harm Emmett Till herself. She realized that her manipulative behavior would end in her saviors harming an innocent young man.
Right.
But yet she has a history of abuse herself with a girlfriend. Yep. This trial demonstrated that people are incapable of nuance. Amber can be both a victim and a horrible person, but seeing the amount of harassment against her is disgusting.
No, you can't be. Jeez.
We were mutually attacking each other. It's like, what?
Look, it's disgusting to call out a woman's lies.
I did them all. I did all the poops.
Mm-hmm.
She said we should run away together. Amber Alert. Oh. The giant Amber turd took in Johnny Depp's bed versus the dog she tried to blame.
Yeah, I know. The shit was like half the size of a dog. And human-shaped.
Yeah. Oh, and the dog had allegedly bowel issues that made it have diarrhea or something.
Yeah.
This is not the kind of turd you produce
And
with diarrhea.
The weird reasoning was her dog got stung the day before.
It stepped on a bee.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that causes bowel movements, but whatever.
Yeah, because I've had a dog who's been stung before, and they didn't get everywhere. They just had a bee sting.
I poured myself a mega pint. Yeah. That was that crazy. I've never heard that term in wine before. I was like, what the hell's a mega pint?
And do you remember like a couple of over a month ago or something where they tried to make out that Amber Heard is the prettiest woman on the planet?
Yeah, I think I read that article, yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought, no.
You have bad taste.
Most men who get graped don't report it because society discourages it.
Yeah, true.
Yes.
And here is Beaker. Hey, Beaker.
Yeah, what might be.
Breaking Bad fans when the fixing good fans walk in. Okay. Oh.
It's a very simplistic one.
Oh. Of course, Hawk posted those.
I was bored after through.
Yeah. Amber Heard loses in the court. Johnny Depp to her and her lawyers. Gentlemen, milady, you will always remember this is the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow.
You spell court wrong.
Yeah, court.
Hello.
Like it's yogurt.
Yeah. How do you? How could you? Oh.
All right.
All in all, what a terrible video.
Well, yeah, we were expecting it to be bad, so. That's the take. The dumbest. Let's not directly say that Johnny Depp's an abuser. We'll just talk about the stories where women are potentially evil masterminds and try to obfuscate the truth with another trope, I guess.
Yeah, so it's too hard for them to pin abuse on Johnny Depp as the abuser anymore. So now they try to the thing that they do try is to what's the word? Not rehabilitate, but kind of that. I was looking for another word, but to make Amber Heard look like innocent.
Mm.
All right.
But this channel, the take, this is evil.
It's hilarious. They don't even make these videos anymore. They just hire other people to make shit up.
They don't make these videos. Oh, you mean they make them themselves? Because we just watched the video they made.
It's their channel. They're the executive producers, but they don't record them. They don't edit. They don't have the video.
They have men making the writing and editing.
The graphic designer is Julian. I guess that could be a woman.
It's and Julian's obviously just some sort of like toy boy.
Anyway, that was the take, guys. Pretty long, but always. We could probably put the take every Friday if we really wanted. There's all kinds of horror.
Not every Friday, please. Not every.
Well,
Friday.
every end of the month, we can't get another Maggie May popping in or replacing her. But anyway, that was the take. So thanks for. I think it came second in the voting because the first one was a Veritas Joe.
Oh
no!
Sort of not literally Veritas Joe, but a Veritas Joe like guy.
Clone
of him. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I thought Veritas Joe was blacklisted.
Yeah, I think we got tired of listening to the N-word every 2 seconds. So, but yeah, we'll find out on the weekend. We're not sure. We might have something planned on Monday. We're not exactly clear yet, but we are getting someone to come on, which would be nice. So anyway, we will talk to you guys later. Thanks for sitting with us throughout all this. Lots of really bad takes from the take there. Not just the topic, but other things was like, ooh, that's not.
I can't believe she went onto the race card. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it was enough to do the Amber Heard as a victim, but now it's like, let's talk about Ferguson. Like, oh no,
oh no,
all bad acts of women are men's fault.
Yeah.
What a finale.
Yeah. Anyway, have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.